Hey, let's fire it up.
Living alone, singing my songs, thinking about the good times when you were my own. Lady taught me how to hurt and cry. And each day I'm not with you, I die more inside. Honey, sweet lady, why did you go and leave me here dying all alone in my world? It's all gone wrong since you've been gone. So give me 5 shots of whiskey to help kill the misery and pain you put me through. Thanks for the good times, for they were the best of my life I spent with you. Now what can I do? Walking on Broadway, not having a care. I see you and your new guy who's stroking your hair. And I can't keep staying here in my hometown. Got to get on with my life somehow. It's all gone wrong since you've been gone. So give me 5 shots of whiskey to help kill the misery and pain you put me through. Thanks for the good times, for they were the best of my life I spent with you. And I still love you.
Hey, what's up, weirdos? It's Mark Splude. And this is episode 102 of the SPLUDECAST. My guest this week, Mr. John Skov-Nielsen. Not enough last names for this guy, right? Nielsen's not enough. He's got to be fucking Skov-Nielsen. I don't know what in the fuck Kenny was teaching these guys in this class. You had John Skov-Nielsen, Dan Gerterio. They shared the class with Chris Hovey. And I mean, Chris Hovey, listen, Jim Hovey has been on the scene for a number of years. Same spelling of the last name. And here Chris comes. He's fucking changing the spelling. We got Skov-Nielsen. We've got Gerterio. Hey, there's a fella I haven't had on this show before. Dan Gurterio. Dan, reach out if you want to come on the SPLUDECAST, man. I'd love to have you on as a guest. Anyway, yeah, what's with these fucking guys and their last names? John Skov-Nielsen, my guest this week. Great to sit down and talk to him. What's with the fucking echo going on in here? If I got a goddamn reverb, what's happening? Hey, all right, I'm sounding a little better. Yeah, John Skov-Nielsen, my guest this week. Didn't really know John very well. Talked to him a couple times at a couple shows. It was nice to have him out here, get to know him a little bit. Feel like we had a pretty decent chat. Got a little more exciting near the end. We got talking about music. We have a lot of similar musical tastes, especially when it comes to Slayer specifically. Yeah, we had a good fucking chat, and that is coming up right after what's been going on with me lately. Well, as I sit here, this is Wednesday, August 15th. No change in the fucking weather here. I'll tell you, it's been a little bit, rainy, cloudy, overcast. Hasn't changed the fucking temperature. Not one single bit, unfortunately. I'm dying here. I was listening to the Boys Club comedy podcast from out of Halifax, Nova Scotia. Andrew Vaughn, Travis Lindsay, Dan Hendricken. Great fucking podcast those guys do. But they're up there fucking whining about the heat too, over there in Nova Scotia. I guess they're getting the same kind of heat wave we're getting over here. Man, it's tough. It's tough, man. It's been wearing me out. It's been forcing me to take a few fucking naps here and there. I've been getting a few headaches here and there, and that never fucking happens to me. So I'm gonna attribute it all to the one thing that I'm fucking hating right now, which is the fucking weather. Is it hot enough for you? If you ever see me live in 2015, you'll get that reference. Hey, is that hot enough for you? I got a bit about it. Just how I fucking hate it when people say that, man. Hey, is it hot enough? You know what? Just keep fucking moving, okay? If you don't have anything relevant to fucking say except talking about this fucking heat, then go fucking kick rocks. Yes, it's hot enough for me. All right? It is. It's too hot for me. It's hot enough for me. It's whatever fucking temperature will make you go the fuck away, okay? Just know that. You know what's going to happen? They're going to be local comics listening to this fucking podcast. Right? Next time I see them, right? Next Sunday After Dark or wherever I fucking see them. Hey, it's been hot enough for you? I'm going to warn you right now, okay? I'm going to warn you right now. And this is specifically for RF. If you do that, I will punch you right in the fucking mouth. All right? Oh, Jesus Christ. Here come the texts. As soon as I fucking fire it up. Well, what can I say? I'm a popular guy. Everybody loves me, right? What does this text say? Go fuck yourself. All right, that seems about right. Yeah, what's been going on with me lately? Well, since we visited last. Yeah. What happened? What have I been up to lately? Oh, shit. Well, last Friday, as soon as I got off work, came home, picked the wife up, and went out to Matt Copeland's house out in St. Martin's, past the airport, and did some filming for Hard Times. Man, damn good fucking time. Matt and I filmed a couple. Man, I'll tell you, I can't wait to see these fucking scenes. Matt sent me a tiny clip of what we had done out there. And Matt's writing is just, it's getting ridiculously fucking good, man. These scenes were ridiculous. They were just so fucking silly and off the wall. I mean, I was giving him mouth to mouth, shoving hot dogs in his mouth. I was coming up with those pieces of hot dogs in my mouth, like just ridiculous fucking storylines. And man, I can't wait to see season 2. It's going to be fucking fantastic. Check it out on YouTube. Of course, I'll do, a bunch of promotion for it before it launches. Damn good time hanging out with Matt Copeland. It was interesting that, Jamie wanted to come out with me. And she's never been on the set of any filming of Hard Times. And she had a damn good time. Of course, Sarah was out there. Matt's very, very pregnant wife. I think she's due next month. Of course, Adam Landry was out there. Got to meet Adam Landry's dad for the first time. Good guy. Shout out to Jim Landry. Good to meet him, man. But yeah, Friday night was a great time. Went out there, filmed some hard times. We actually got through it real fucking quickly. And wifey and I just, came home after that. The boy was spending the night at a friend's. So, wife and I came home, had the house to ourselves. Had a few drinks, had a few smokes. And, do like they do on the Discovery Channel. That's what we did. Man, and the nice thing was Saturday, got to fucking sleep in this goddamn heat. It's got me up in the middle of the fucking night. I can't sleep. Restless leg syndrome. Hot as fuck. And I've been averaging about 4 or 5 hours a night, and it's not cutting it. As it builds up throughout the week, it starts to fucking wear on me. And I slept in until 11 a.m. on Saturday, and it was fucking beautiful. Wifey brought me a coffee and a bagel. That's how I started my day, eased my way out of bed. Finally threw my ass in the shower around noon. Just fucking lazing around, Wifey and I went out, did a little bit of shopping together. Her and I, our whole family, Chaos's girlfriend included, we're all flying out to Ontario here in a week and a half, and I know how fucking hot it's going to be there. I don't have a lot of, at least I didn't have a lot of summer clothes. I needed some new sneakers. So wifey and I hit the mall. We hit a few fucking box stores and got what we needed for our trip. And just, spent a great afternoon together. Came home, picked the boy up. He worked all day Saturday, picked him up. And the three of us just fucking spent the night together, man. It was, Saturday was fantastic. Family day. Sunday, no fucking different. Woke up in the morning. Chaos was up for anything, which was fantastic. And that's pretty rare. So we decided to, actually on our way out to Matt's on Friday night, Jamie and I discovered a few abandoned houses along the way. So that's what we decided to do Sunday morning. We all packed into the vehicle and we picked up Chaos's girlfriend, Maddie. And we headed out towards St. Martin's, stopped at a couple abandoned houses. Nothing too cool. No point in even really talking about it. We didn't really find too much. But, that's what we did. We went out to St. Martin's, had a look at the beach, had a little meal at the food truck out there. Damn good time, man. Just family time, Sunday night, I was pretty excited about this. There was another Sunday, Laughter Dark going on. And there was no goddamn way I was going to miss this show because this was going to be my last opportunity. Jesus. This was going to be my last opportunity to see Matt Keenan and Sam Laban. I know they're doing their little, I shouldn't say little, it's a bit disparaging. Doing their little tour there, a little farewell tour. They're doing a farewell tour. I'm not going to be able to make it to most of those dates because we are going to be in Ontario. So it was very important for me to get out there and see those guys. And man, it was just a fucking great night at the comedy club. Wifey came with me. The boy was working Sunday night. We dropped him off and went, he wasn't working Sunday night. We dropped him and Maddie off at the movies on our way to Market Square to McGill's for Sunday Laughter Dark. Man, great fucking show. It was just nice to get out to a comedy show. Again, I think this is my third show that I've seen. I think it's maybe, third or fourth show I've seen in the 4 months that I've been away from comedy. Damn good time, man. Great to see everybody. John Nesbitt was out. Dan McCarthy was out. Steph Savage. Just great to fucking see everybody out, man. That doesn't include, all the people on the show, but just, other people that were there. Always love hanging out with John Nesbitt, Anyway. Actually, another fella that was, it was great to see was the birthday boy, Travis Boyce. Happy birthday, Travis. We got Travis some specialty donuts and shit, and we brought it down there to him. Wifey knew he was going to be at the show. Man, I just, can't say enough good fucking things about Travis. I'm just going to say happy birthday and that I love the kid. And I've said this on here before, but he is everything I hope my son grows up to be. Just a really well-adjusted fucking kid. No surprise because he's got great fucking parents. Parents. Shout out to Jackie and Ed Boyce as well. Congratulations on a On a good kid you raised there. I don't know what your other kid's like. Maybe he's a fucking nightmare. I don't know, but Travis, you did a good job there with Travis Boyce. Anyway, I mean, how often do I suck their fucking dick on this podcast, honestly? Right? I guess that's why they love me so much. I love you guys too. Anyway, it was a damn good time. We'll get right to it. Great fucking show, man. Everybody did well on this show. Standouts for me were, in fact, Sam Laidman and Matt Keenan. Love both their fucking sets. If it's not a competition between those guys, but let's face it, every time you do comedy, it's a fucking competition. Winner of this competition for me, Sunday night, was Sam Laidman. Sam Laidman, although, he was doing a little bit of material that I'd seen before, I think he's just trying to, hone everything he's fucking got. And he dug a little deep, but, it was stuff I hadn't heard for a very long time, at least anyway. But, man, it wasn't even about the material with Sam at this show. This was the best. I think this was the best I've ever seen Sam do. He was on fucking fire. He was just absolutely on fire. Sam is a lot like my good friend Travis, where sometimes he can live and die off of his confidence. Sometimes Sam will get up there if a couple jokes don't work or one joke don't work, it can rattle him. He loses that confidence. He's like Travis in that way where they almost need that level of confidence to do well. And man, Sam was brimming with fucking confidence. I thought he was going to start fucking throwing punches. Instead he was just throwing big punchlines, man. Loved the shit out of Sam's set. I love the fuck out of Matt's set as well. Love the new stuff, Matt. Man, I'm telling you, I'm really gonna miss those two fucking dudes. Great guys, great comics. Wish them nothing but the best. Matt, I'm gonna have Matt on here. I think he's coming on the day I return, actually, from Ontario. I think Matt's coming over for a podcast, a little farewell podcast. Maybe we'll even hug it out. I'll miss you, man. I'll have Matt Keenan on here soon. Great to see those fucking guys, man. Now, here was the cool thing. Not only did Sam do about 10 minutes, just solo, he was also involved in a roast battle versus Brian Godso. Now, these guys did a few promo videos leading up to it, cutting fucking promos on each other. Brian, I don't know what the fuck he was doing with his videos, running it through some filter with music. I couldn't hear a fucking word he was saying. And Sam walking down the street, really all Sam was doing was giving me a view of his fucking nostrils, and that had me so distracted, I couldn't hear what he was talking about. But I still appreciated the effort. I love that shit, man. If you're going to be in a roast, you got to fucking play it up. Get on Facebook or wherever and make your fucking promo videos. I dig it, man. It adds a little bit of pageantry to an already special kind of event in comedy. I dug the shit of it. This roast, man. So Sam wins the fucking roast. But I got to tell you, I'm not sure I've seen a closer fucking roast. I'm surprised this didn't go to some kind of tiebreaker or something. Both guys had great material. Second round was a little light, but Sam came out fucking swinging. Brian closed super strong. Man, really good. Could have gone either way. I don't think anybody would have been upset if it had gone to Godso. But it went to Sam. Sam leaves the city victorious over Brian Godso, and also victorious in a fucking wicked set. Just a great goddamn night of comedy, man. It was good to get out, good to see everybody. And like I said, nobody had a bad set. Everybody did well. There was a decent turnout for a crowd, and just a great fucking show. It renews my faith in the comedy scene here. Good goddamn times. And it started that little fucking spark. That little spark. Man, I've been gone for 4 months now. And I'm coming back real fucking soon. Man, it is creeping up real soon. Now, I'm kind of fucking stupid. When I walked away in April, I said to myself, you know what? I'm done with this fucking material. And a lot of the material that I was doing at the time in April was very fucking new material. Quite fresh. And, it was the kind of bit that I was still adding stuff to. But I was already fucking tired of it. And I said to myself, I'm burning everything I've ever fucking done. That's it. We're going to start over from fucking scratch. Because let's face it, man, that's how you get better. Right? You don't get better repeating material. I don't know how you could. Sure enough, hone it up, get it to where you want it to be. But But you're not going to get any better doing that fucking material over and over and over. The only way you're going to get better at writing, first of all, is to continue to write. At performing, first of all, is to turn it over. Do something new. Challenge yourself. Try something fucking different. It's the only way to grow in comedy, right? Now, let me preface that by saying, or not preface, that's my opinion, right? That's all it is. It's just my opinion. And last time I checked, this is called the SPLUDECAST. So you're going to get Splude's opinions. But, you know, I'm kind of stupid because I burn all that fucking material. And the first fucking show I sign up for is a 30-minute set. So now, upon my return, I have to do 30 brand new fucking minutes. I've never tried to do that before. I've never said, I've done 20. Actually, I don't know if I've done 20. I've done, you know, probably 17 or 18 brand new minutes before. I've done that. And that was challenging enough. And that's when I was running really hot in comedy. And I was writing every single day and performing every single weekend. And that's not the case this time. I'm returning in 3 weeks. I got to have 30 new minutes of material. And right now, I have 0. But I'm going to make it happen, man. I mean, there's a reason why I operate this way. I work best under pressure. You know, when I had Sam on here, or maybe it was somewhere else. No, when I had Sam on here, last week he was talking about, you know, he needs a deadline. He needs a job like he has with a fucking deadline to light a fire under his ass. I'm kind of the fucking same way in comedy. You know, I need that impending show. And I think that's what we might have been talking about too. I don't fucking know. Anyway, I do need that show coming up to kick my ass. Man, I've had 4 fucking months. I could have sat down, you know, just once a week and wrote 5 minutes and it all would have fucking come together. But that's not the way I do business, right? Because I'll tell you this, if I had started writing in May, I don't think I would have liked that material by the time September rolls around. But, you know, I've been writing down ideas, and just recently, after that show at Sunday Afternoons, I came home, and a few ideas came to me. Just different angles on shit I've already kind of written down in my notes. I think I've got about, you know, somewhere between 5 and 8 minutes now. And I got 3 weeks to go. So listen, man, I'm not sweating it. Okay, this is the kind of thing I've always fucking done. Oh, yeah, sure, fucking book me on that show. I'll be there with new stuff. I assume I will be, right? Because that's what I've always fucking done. And this will be no different. I'll show up on September 7th. I'll make the walk to the fucking stage with 30 new minutes. You know, good or bad. Who knows? I don't know how it's going to fucking go, man. I've been out of this game for 4 months. That doesn't sound like a long time. But if you've ever done comedy, you know it's something that, you know, it's an edge you have to fucking keep sharp at all times. And if you walk away from it, that edge gets a little dull. And that does worry me a little bit. Just a little bit. I mean, let's face it, the stakes are kind of low. It's not like this is a big ticketed show or anything like that. It's O'Leary's, and there's likely to be fucking 6 to 8 people there if it's a good fucking turnout. So, yeah, I mean, the stakes are really low. But nevertheless, man, I'm taking it as serious as I would take any fucking show, man. It's a chance to present brand new fucking material. It's a chance to do 30 minutes of fucking comedy. I can't wait. Very much looking forward to it. And like I said, I'll be there with 30 new fucking minutes, good or bad. And we'll see how it goes. But the great thing is, man, that was such a great fucking show. Sunday After Dark lit a fire under my ass in comedy. It was very touching at the end of the show to see Matt and Sam passing the Laughter Dark torch over to Brian Godsoe and my guest this week, John Skov-Nielsen. Those 2 guys have taken over that room for Matt and Sam as they fuck off to Ontario. And yeah, I think it's going to 2 great fucking guys. I think those guys, I think they know exactly what they're fucking doing. They're already starting out another season of Roast Battle. They've got 16 comics lined up. The Roast Battles are going to start very fucking soon. Check them out on Facebook or social media, whatever. Sunday Laughter Dark. Or just, you know, seek out Brian or John. I'm sure they've got a poster made up, or they're releasing the brackets soon, or I'm not sure exactly what. I got a sneak preview of the bracket. I got to tell you, there's one roast in particular, one roast battle that I'm really looking forward to, and that's Jim Hovey versus Ian Esty. And the reason I'm looking forward to it is because those guys have known each other for so many years. I can't wait to see how deep they're going to go against each other. You got to be careful, right? See, that's the thing on a scene like this scene here. If you're going to do a roast battle, for the audience to really enjoy it, you almost have to go strictly physical because, nobody knows these fucking comics. It's not like, the roast of Bruce Willis where the whole world knows his fucking history, right? The crowd doesn't know these fucking guys. So you almost have to go physical, or then you're getting into doing a lot of explanation to the crowd, like, oh, hey, this guy never gets to see his kids, so that's why this joke is a fucking funny roast for him. And that doesn't always work. It's tricky. It's tricky, but I love it that we're revisiting these roast battles. I certainly had no interest in doing it again. I'm just going to focus on straight up material, just traditional fucking stand up, man. That's the one thing I love more than anything else in entertainment is just straight up stand up comedy. Not, anything fucking weird or different or anyway. That's my preference. That's what I'm going to focus on. But I'm really looking forward to the roast battles. I'll be there for each and every one, if possible. If I'm available, I'll be there to check them all out. Damn good night, man. We're going to miss Sam and Matt, man. I am definitely going to miss Sam and Matt. But I love it that they're chasing this fucking dream. I really do. They could make it, right? If they stay here, chances are they're probably not going to make it. So at least they're taking that first step. It takes balls, man. It takes a lot of fucking balls. And what I love about it is, even if these guys don't succeed, if they don't, achieve all of their fucking goals in comedy, this is a huge learning experience for them. They're leaving the nest. They're going off on their own. Man, it's a scary fucking thing. But what they're going to gain is life experience. And in that life experience, it's going to make them better comics. You're not going to be a great comic if you stay in the same fucking city where you were born for your entire fucking life. You don't have that much fucking interesting shit to say. You have to get out and experience life. Experience different, cultures and shit like that. Very limited if you stay in one place. So yeah, I think it's a fucking great move from those guys, and I'm going to miss them. I'm starting to get a little teared up talking about it, so we're going to fucking just move right on. Man, I got to say, something very interesting has happened here on the SPLUDECAST since the release of the State of the Union for 2018 podcast that I put out a couple weeks ago. The interesting thing is that San Francisco, who used to be, they used to be my highest numbers, and they've really fallen off. Panorama City took over. Even Mexico beat them a few weeks ago as far as downloads and listenership. San Francisco is back, and not only are they are back with a fucking vengeance. And I really think that maybe Mr. Darren Elmore shared this podcast again. I don't know. I'm not on Twitter. No one said anything to me about it, but it's just kind of weird that, the first State of the Union, Darren shared it and said, hey, look at this podcast. This guy's talking shit about me. What an asshole. That's what drove my numbers up in San Francisco. And here we go. This year, my numbers are up again. I don't know if he shared it or not. I got to say this, okay? I'm all done talking about Darren Elmore. I've said everything I need to fucking say about him. He's been shitty to me. He's been shitty to some of my friends, some of the people that I care about. So, I don't regret anything I've said about him or going after him publicly like that. I don't fucking regret anything. I don't live with regrets, man. But I'm all done talking about him, man. He's got his own fucking shit. It seems like he's got a fucking, a rough enough life without me, tearing him down on this podcast all the time. I really hope the best for Darren Elmore. I hope he straightens his fucking shit out. I hope he writes a new 5 minutes, and I hope he finds, some kind of fucking, happiness in this life. I wish him the fucking best. I'm all done talking about him. Now, unless he stirs up more shit with me personally, that's going to be a battle for someone else to fight. I'm all done talking about it. And that's it, man. That's really all I have to say. Jesus Christ, I'm 30 minutes in. How does this fucking happen? I swear to God, every time I swear to God, because I'm pretty religious. But it's weird because every week I fire up this intro. I talked to John Skov-Nielsen for a couple hours, I think. And I always come on here and before I fire up this microphone, I go, okay, we're going to do 10, maybe 12, 15 minutes, something like that. And it always turns out it's fucking 30, 35, 40, 50 fucking minutes. I just can't control myself. I'm all done fucking talking. The SPLUDECAST, episode 102 with John Skov-Nielsen. Driver, right the fuck into you. I'm having illusions, all this confusion driving me mad inside. I'm having illusions, all this confusion fucking me up in my mind. I'm having illusions, all this confusion driving me mad inside. I'm having illusions, all this confusion fucking me up in my mind. Motherfuckers be driving me up the walls, hoping that I fall, but they can hit my balls. Straight jacket, stop it. Art this podcast. Right. I had no idea you had a podcast. So tell me about it. So you and Dan Gurr, was it Dan Gurr?
Yeah, I think he just dropped the
He's
Gurr
losing
now.
the Gurr? What's up with the fucking Gurr? You would know. You hung out with him. What, is it just like a stage name or is it a real name? Or?
Well, I don't even think he intended to use it. It was when, because we met taking Ken Bolton's class.
Right.
And I think... And when Ken arranged for our first show, it was the 8 Virgins show.
Right, yeah.
I think
I sadly was out of town on a gig, and I missed that. I heard that was quite a fucking scene.
It was a good show. That place was packed.
Yeah.
Like, it was, wow, that was a fire hazard for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I've never seen it more full.
Our bar. Yeah. Yeah. So what happened with Dan Gurr's name?
Well, he had it on his Facebook, so I'm assuming, I think Ken just went to our Facebooks to look for name spellings and saw it and assumed, I don't know if it was his middle name or something rather. So it caught on, but I think it just confused his hosts more than anything.
Yeah,
they kind of stumble on it because...
Well, if you look at it, it's almost like it's, it's, if you were to eliminate the space, it'd be Danger, right?
Yeah.
So, Dan Gurr, I don't know, it's kind of strange. What's up with Dan now? I haven't seen him.
He just had another baby recently, actually.
So he's fucked.
He's
done. Yeah, you're done, bud. That's it.
He gets one night a week, I think, and last week he used his on Friday night to record a scene in Hard Times.
Oh, really? Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. We're going to get to talking about Hard Times, too. So anyway, tell me about this podcast. You and Dan and Chris Hovey?
Chris Hovey, yeah. Well, Dan messaged us about it. It was shortly after we did our first show, and maybe I think we'd done it like 2 or 3 times at that point. And he said he always wanted to do a podcast.
Right.
And so we all got together in his basement, hence the Cellar Dwellers. We rented the equipment.
Oh, I thought you meant you guys were calling it that because you were like the bottom of the comedy.
Oh, no. Well, that's a good way. Oh, yeah, totally. That's what it was.
I think it works either way, John.
It really does, actually.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way. And it would made more sense in me.
Sure. So what did you, was it like an hour-long podcast or what?
Yeah, it was about an hour. We had a couple guests. We had Drake Tobias on there. We had
did you have any good guests?
We had a Shand and Sam on there once. I think they were the only 3 we had.
Yeah, right. How many episodes did you guys do?
I think 4 or 5.
Nice. I'll have to check that out. Where did you post it? Like, where is it? Where can I listen to
it?
Don't say Facebook.
I think that was where it was. I can't remember what site we got it. It may have been SoundCloud. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I still get like notifications about it, and we should have gone back to it, but it was just, I don't know, it was the same deal. Like, we were kind of early in the scene, and like, didn't really plan it out, so it just ended up being us rambling about, the 3 shows that we may have done.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh.
Man, people love to listen to that shit,
they
though.
do.
It's crazy, man. Like, this podcast, I mostly cover our local scene here. And I've got listeners all through California, Colorado, Jersey, all over the world, Tokyo, Japan, all over the fucking place.
Wow.
People just like to hear, I think it's more, people want to hear the amateur side, of stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
I have very few listeners in this area, surprisingly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, most of my listenership is, United States, Japan, Mexico now.
Japan, wow,
Yeah,
that's something.
Yeah, it's crazy. I got like 68 listeners in Tokyo. It's it's insane.
Probably be a god there. You should totally go.
Maybe my English is so bad they think I'm speaking Japanese. I don't know what. That fan's awful loud, Dan. I'm gonna fucking pump that down just a little bit. We're gonna need it on, or we'll die in here. That's a little more manageable. It usually comes through the headphones quite a bit, but usually by the time I get the podcast up, you can hardly hear it. So.
Oh, okay.
But we definitely need some air moving in here. Hot as a motherfucker today. What'd you do today?
I hung out mostly. Actually, I walked here because I needed some sort of physical kind of activity. But
Nice. Yeah.
I worked like something like 7 days straight, and just I always find, and like once I get a day off, it always just kills me. I try to get motivated and do something, but
Yeah, but if you go 7 straight, man, you wanna, you need a day to just fucking kick back
well,
and relax a
just kind
little.
of like vegged out. And
Have you got aircon at the house?
yeah.
Well, why the fuck would you go outside?
Well, that's the thing, right? Like,
Fuck, I was stupid. I loaded up my bike today and picked up my daughter, and we went out in the fucking woods for like 4 hours on the bike
nice.
and just fucking roasted all day.
which woods did you go?
I actually went out to, I keep hearing out by the airport, there's, on the power line, there's a new warming shack that they built out there. So I wanted to go out and see if we could find it. So we did find it. We found a cool little private beach out there too on First Lake. It was a pretty good fucking run. So yeah, kind of out by the airport arterial kind of deal.
Right.
Yeah, it was a good time. But it was fucking hot. I should have stayed inside. I don't even have air conditioning in here, but I still should have stayed inside.
Well, that's I figure everything I needed was there,
Yeah.
Netflix, the dope, the fucking everything was just
Sure, yeah.
one spot.
Well, listen, if you're going to have a day off, you need the fucking dope. I mean, that's the first thing you got to do, right? Yeah. You don't have kids or nothing, John?
No.
Oh, so you don't have to fucking worry
just
about
a
when
cat.
you smoke. No. You can smoke it whenever you want.
I'm free. The cat
Shit.
doesn't care.
Ah.
Give him some catnip. He's good to go.
Nice. Yeah, I gave mine catnip 2 days ago, actually. She didn't even fucking care.
really?
She scratched the scratching post where I dumped it for like 30 seconds, and then she went out and got something to eat. She was all done.
All right. Got the
I think
munchies to go.
she's getting, she's developing a tolerance to the catnip, I think is what's going on.
think
I'll
my-
have to switch the strain or something.
Yeah.
Now, you smoke dope, obviously. Are you a street bag guy, or are you a real connoisseur?
Working my way up to being connoisseur right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm street bagging it, but I'd love to go through the process of just getting my license. Well, actually, a friend of mine just recommended getting it online. There's apparently a site. I can't remember the name of the site now. It's out of Winnipeg, and he gets it like within 2 days. And
Yes.
It's really, really good stuff.
Well, I'll tell you something, and they're not a sponsor, at least not yet, but I've been getting weed from mjnexpress.ca. They're out of BC. They've got a fucking 100 strains to pick from, and it's here in 3 days from BC. I ordered it last week. I ordered it on my birthday on the 30th, and it arrived on August 2nd.
Oh, nice.
It was fucking beautiful, and I just went up to the mailbox, and there it was, 3 days, and I got Blue Dream, Green Crack, Very Berry, Tropican. I got some hash. Man, and they don't even ask for a prescription or nothing.
Oh, nice.
E-transfer, like, it couldn't be fucking easier.
That's crazy.
So you don't have to suffer for street bags. And I think I got 10 grams for $113.
Jeez,
That's including the 3-day delivery. So it's not that bad. A little over $10 a gram. But fuck, man, it's pretty good. For quality smoke, right?
Yeah. Well, I've kind of wanted to branch out because I've just been getting the stuff that's just been circulating around here. It's just garbage most of the time.
Yeah.
I got some green crack, though. That stuff is... Whew,
It's powerful.
That's,
It put John Ford right off the medical marijuana.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right off the bat. Well, it's funny because he went to get his prescription, and I was working at a dispensary. And he went through my company, but at a different location. And I say, hey, man, why didn't you come out and see me? Anyway, once he got it, he came out to see me for his first one. He actually has a bit about this. the legalized prostitution bit has this bit in it where he came to see me and I hooked him up with some Northern Lights, but I hooked him up with some green crack. And he ended up giving it back to me.
Oh, really?
He gave it back. Too strong.
Wow.
Too strong. I think he was experiencing some psychosis from
really?
it. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. It can, though. Green crack's a very strong sativa, and it can make you pretty anxious if you're not used to a medical grade, marijuana.
I found that when I first smoked.
Either that or John's a pussy. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure which way it's likely a little bit of both.
Yeah, column A, column B. Like.
Yeah, exactly.
When I first tried some, because usually I just like to go through get a little high, walk through the woods, but I had to find a bench or something and sit down and collect myself. And
Nice.
Let
Yeah.
the world just stop spinning for a bit and put the headphones in, and
Yeah, it gets intense, man.
It does.
Yeah, I had
it
some
was
2
an
nights
ass
ago,
kicker.
and it was fucking intense. I like it though, man. I like a weed that'll put my head right in the fucking clouds. That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to get as
Yeah.
high as fucking possible. Which I guess I should probably switch to shatter because I hear that's what happens on shatter. I've never tried it.
I've tried it. Honestly, I didn't get that much from it. Maybe I just
Really?
smoked it. I found it incredibly hard in the lungs for one thing. It was.
That's what I hear from everybody. It fucking chokes you out. It's hard on
yeah.
you. Yeah.
I was smoking in my backyard and coughing up a lung, and my neighbor even called over to me. He was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I just gotta lay off the cigs." Inside of my stomach, coming out of.
Oh Jesus Christ! Yeah,
roughed
but it's taken over. It's going to be interesting to see if Cannabis New Brunswick carries shatter in the beginning.
I think they already do.
They'd be
Somebody
smart to do
told me.
that. They'd be smart to do that, man. Because if they open the doors and all they're selling is flour and no concentrates, the black market's going to explode. Because most people now smoke shatter, right?
It's everywhere now.
Yeah.
Everyone I know, even some of the guys I get it from, they're like, "Oh, I don't have some. I have some of the shatter." And I don't know. It just maybe I don't know. It didn't have it just felt like weed. There was nothing really, which it was still good.
Sure.
But there was nothing really special about it. I found I was really waiting for it to really punch me right in the face.
Yeah.
But it never really came.
Oh,
but-
okay, right. So you weren't blown away by it?
No, not
Yeah,
really.
okay.
Maybe I'll give it another try or something. Maybe
I'm just
something,
afraid it's going to ruin flour for me. I love flour. I love that process of grinding it up and fucking vaporizing it. I love that process. I don't want to lose that. I don't want to, go to shatter and go, oh, well, now the flour doesn't do anything to me.
Right.
It's like going from, from coke to crack, right? You don't go back.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, and I don't know. You see the rigs that they use for it, and you got to heat up this fucking thing with a torch, and it's it just seems like you're doing a really hard drug.
That's what it is, yeah. And it just seems like way too much effort just to, I just put it in my pipe and light it up, and that's it.
Yeah,
and that's
it's pretty simple.
Joints can be a little complicated for me, so I like it.
Right. You don't vaporize?
No.
Have you tried a vaporizer?
I have, actually, yeah. That was really good. I enjoyed it. It goes in easy and great taste to it. And
Yeah. Well, it also can't give you cancer, which is kind of nice, too.
that's always a plus, yeah.
I love it because now I'm ruined. As soon as I had this respiratory problem. I've told this story a million times on here. I had a respiratory problem in 2016. My wife did a lot of research and found for respiratory problems, vaporizing a marijuana high in CBD can cure it. Sounds stupid. Smoking dope can, cure your breathing problems.
I'll take it.
The first puff I took, John, cured me immediately.
Really?
Yeah. And when it wore off, I had to do more, because the breathing was still bad. But after 3 months of doing that, it was completely gone. My issue was gone. Doctor, I went to, 3-4 different doctors. No one could figure out what it was. So, but anyway, that's when I started on the vaporizer. But now I'm so addicted to the flavors of marijuana. It's the only thing I care about. I don't even care exactly how high I get from it if it tastes good. And you don't get that same flavor if you smoke it. If you burn it, have to vaporize it. So that's really why I vaporize now, because I just love the flavors, right? Pineapples and just all the different fucking flavors. I love it.
I had a root beer flavored at the Panic Room a few months ago.
Oh, really?
Different. Yeah, well, a friend of mine held it out, and I smelled it, and he's like, "What does that smell like to you?" And I was like, "Root beer." And smoking it tasted just like it. Really
it's
burning
amazing.
root beer.
I don't know how they get these flavors into the fucking flour.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I got this very berry stuff from MJN Express, and it's like eating a fucking fruit salad. It's ridiculous, I don't know how they do it. It's amazing. Like pineapple crunch, you smoke that, it tastes like pineapple. I've had grape stuff, but you taste it. It's weird. I don't know how they get that flavor in there.
Yeah,
you know.
Sometimes I think it's a mystery better left unsolved. Sometimes.
Yeah,
It's like...
yeah. I like it that it's a mystery.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I'm sure I could look into it and find the answer. I don't give a fuck, man. Sometimes I prefer the mystery over the Google.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah. John, you know, you've been doing comedy how long? A year
for
now?
About a year. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I've seen you do comedy maybe only 3 times, and I think we've spoken maybe, I don't know, 20 words to each other in that time.
So, yeah.
I don't know you, so who the fuck are you? What's your fucking story? How'd you get into this comedy deal?
Well, I always wanted to do it, but always just felt kind of like too chicken shit to even do it.
Sure.
And just kind of like pulled myself out of it and just said that's not a good enough reason not to do it.
Yeah.
And actually a big pusher for that was Travis Boyce. I used to work with him at the Superstore.
Oh, okay, right.
And I remember just turning on Facebook one day and seeing a video of him doing stand-up.
Yeah.
And it knocked me away because I always loved Travis. A very quiet guy. He always kind of reminded me of me because he was always kind of an introverted. We always had the same interests. And I thought, I was like, wow, kudos for him. And
because he seems a little even more shy than you do initially when you meet him.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And like I just thought it was pretty cool that he was able to push himself. And I think I asked him like how he got into it, and he told me about Ken Bolton's class, sent me the link to it, and I had it in my favorites on my computer for weeks. Like just
right. You weren't acting on it. You were just like, oh, thanks for the info, but I'll think about it.
That's how it was.
Yeah.
Part of me really wanted to do it, but the other part, like I have a lot of sort of self-doubting and confidence issues, I guess.
Sure.
And one night, I think I just got retardedly high and just said, you know what, just do it.
Yeah.
Just sign up for this class and see how it goes. And
yeah. And that's what you did.
I did, yeah. It turned out to be the best decision of my life, really. It was...
Yeah. So how was that course for you? Because you guys represented Kenny's last course before he moved out of here. Of course, Chris Trotter has done a course since. But how was that for you, that experience? What was it what you expected from, like, I guess, a comedy course? Like, what was your experience with Ken?
It was I really didn't know what to expect going into it. I didn't really know what kind of sort of things you would learn. But the first day, and I thought Ken was great right from the get-go.
Ken's
Solid
such a
dude.
great guy.
Oh, yeah. Funny, too. Like,
yeah.
He's just a riot. And,
I actually think, and I love Ken, and I hope he doesn't get insulted by this. I know he listens, and I'm actually going to be going to Peterborough to see him in just a couple weeks. I always found Ken funnier off stage than on stage. Like, Ken cracks me up, man. Oh, I love Ken.
Funny man.
Yeah.
Like, even that night, I think one of his tips for us or something, because he gave us an assignment. It was like, write 3 things, like, I'm so lazy, I'm so poor,
Okay, right.
And then he goes, in terms of swearing, just fuck it. Like this.
Nice.
He actually gave me another great piece of advice too, because I was kind of struggling, like right off the bat, trying to write something, and he noticed it and kind of like called me out a bit on it, like, "Oh, having a hard time, John." He said, "Well, your problem is you're trying to make it perfect," and he was like, "Stop that." And
nice.
After that, and that's what I needed. Like, it kind of snapped me out of it, and then I just stopped thinking about it and just wrote it out, and I ended up doing well. Like, I got the class laughing first night, and that felt really good.
Yeah. How many were in your class?
8.
8, and that had to have been, I think that was by far his biggest class.
That's what he said, and he said it was the first class he did where no one left. Like, it was like 8 started and 8 finished.
Yeah. So. Oh, that's impressive. And all 8 of you performed on a show at the Arbonne, right?
Oh,
yeah. I was out, like I said, I was out of town on that one. I really wanted to check out that show. I heard, well, actually, John Ford sent me a picture that night of the crowd, and I was just, wow, holy fuck, talk about bringers. Jesus Christ. Now, were they all there for Chris Hovey? Or was it split up a little bit? Did you have people out watching you?
I did, yeah, very few, but I think the majority were his. His family don't really come out to his shows as much anymore, which sucks because it was what we were talking about earlier. Like, I came up with a good joke sometime. Like, I wanted to go up there and say something like, "I'm always honored to be invited back to perform at the Hovey family reunion."
Yeah, right.
That's what it felt like. That's what was great about it, though. He always filled the room. And
well, it really helped him in the beginning get a lot of bookings because people, bookers recognize that, right? Oh, this guy brought fucking 14 people. Hey, Chris, want to be on my next show?
Yeah.
Luckily, Chris is a guy who's a good enough comic that you can do that. It's not like he's just getting booked for his bringers, right? He's getting booked based on the fucking merit of his comedy. He's a killer, man.
Oh, is he ever? Yeah. And he was always very quiet in class. And then one day he did that first bit he did about his mom finding the condom in the dryer.
Right.
And that just killed us all. Like, it was like, wow, where'd that come from? And
so how much do you hate him based on that? Based on...
It's like 50-50. I'm so proud of him in one way and the others.
Do you have like are you experiencing like that little bit of jealousy, like just in your head kind of thing with comedy?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's weird, eh? It's a weird craft that way.
It is, but I find I use it more to motivate myself more.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that like, oh, he's so much better than me. Well, no, that he just becomes like the kind of the goal to like overcome. Like, okay, I got to do what he does, but better.
Yeah.
And that's why I think people should look at it. Like, because I think because I'm guilty of it too. I let kind of jealousy kind of consume me a bit, and then it really shows. But then when you turn it around and use it as like a more of a positive motivator.
Yeah. That's the thing to do. It's hard to do sometimes when you're on Facebook and you scroll through and you see this guy, you know, like let's take Chris for example. He's getting this show and he's getting that gig and he's getting booked there. You know, it's hard not to be. Yeah. Fuck. Why does he keep getting? You know what I mean? It's a sickness, man. It's the probably the only reason I got off of Facebook. You know, because I would look at, you know, you see James at Harbor Station or something, right? And go, how the fuck, you know what I mean? But, yeah, this business it'll make you a jealous fucking animal. Big time.
I wondered, like, how much it plays into, like, other things, like music and film. But I think what it seems like from what I've heard from talking to people, it seems to be more prominent in comedy, I guess.
Yeah,
like,
I think it happens in any kind of artistic endeavor. I think what's different in comedy is that it's so personal. You know, you and I will sit in our, you know, little comedy areas, wherever we choose to write, and we'll sit there and we'll mull over and we'll try to come up with something we think is going to be funny, you know, to everybody, and then take it to the stage and present it by yourself. You know, if you're a musician, usually you've got, you know, you're playing with 5-6 other people, right? Usually, unless you're just an acoustic guy with one guitar. But you've always got that, you know, that team to lean on, and, you know, I don't know, man. Yeah, I think it's so personal. These are our inner, you know, thoughts and feelings. For someone to go up and do a guitar solo, right?
Yeah.
If the crowd doesn't fucking dig it, it's, you know, it's not quite as painful as when you're up there with a microphone with your thoughts and feelings going, hey guys, this is what I think is funny. And it's especially tough when the people go, yeah, we don't think that's very funny at all, but we don't, it's weird, eh? It's weird.
That's why I find kind of intimidating, especially with comedy, because there's, like you said, like we could write our stuff and think like, oh, we got some gold here, but you don't know if it's good or not until you perform it in front of somebody, and like that's it. And like you could, like I've had it too. Like I've come up with jokes and just I'm on the way there, and I'm so excited to try it out, and I do, and
like, it's heartbreaking.
It is. It's shattering, but at the same time, I don't. If a joke doesn't land, I don't necessarily think, well, maybe it's not necessarily a bad joke, maybe it's the wrong crowd. I find that a hard thing to determine sometimes.
Yes.
And well, sometimes it could be just that the joke has some wrinkles and needs ironing out, and sometimes it is kind of a bad joke. But I think most of the time it can be that, because I've had jokes that work really well certain places, but try it like say at Yucks or somewhere else, and it's
it's that's the most frustrating thing about this craft. Yeah, it's the variables. Like every show has countless numbers of variables: the lighting, the mics, the crowd, how you feel. Did you take a shit? Have you eaten? You know, do you feel funny today? Just so many fucking variables, right? Or just one heckler could ruin the whole fucking set. You know, I mean, did you go to see Shane's 40 years on Earth, 20 years on stage?
I wasn't there, but I heard.
Yeah, man. A heckler really threw him off his fucking game. He handled it well, and the show was great, but it really fucked with him, and she changed the entire course of that fucking show. You know, and it's... I
find that so...
You can't avoid it.
Yeah.
You can't get away from it, you know?
Like, and it kind of annoys me, like, how much people think that heckling is all part of the show, but they don't realize, like, how distracting and how crushing they can be, like, and how... like destructive it can be, I guess. Is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, you know, I always maintain that everybody who comes out to see a comedy show, before the show, they should get up and have to do 2 minutes of comedy.
Ooh, that's good.
Right?
I like that.
Get up there, do 2 minutes of comedy, then take your seat. Because if they were to fucking do that, nobody would heckle.
Yeah.
Fucking nobody would, man. It's a tough thing to get up there and tell fucking jokes, man. Sounds stupid, right? You're just going up telling dick jokes, but man, it's a very personal, emotional experience.
It really is, and a lot of people I don't think really understand that. Because when I tell them I do comedy and I talk about like how nervous I am, and they're like, "All you got to do is just go up there and make them laugh," and I'm like, "Exactly. I have to go up there and make a bunch of strangers laugh.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know what these people like. I don't know what kind of day they're having. I don't know."
Well, You don't know if they were bullied by a guy who looks like you. Like, there are so many, you know, there are so many reasons that a crowd could hate you.
Right.
And very few that they're going to love you for. I mean, take a guy like Jimmy McKinley. When he gets up there, he starts off a little ahead because he's a good-looking dude. You know, he's dressed nice, right? So people are going to go, okay, we'll listen to this fucking guy.
Yeah.
And then, you know, some kind of fucking weird-looking guy like me or you gets up there. Exactly. You know, listen, admittedly, I'm much weirder looking, but you know what I mean, right?
Oh, I get it. Yeah. I've seen the looks. Like, I've gone up there and I look out and see people just kind of like, oh.
Yeah,
like,
what's going on with this guy?
For their purses and like.
You know what I thought was very interesting? I think it was last summer. You completely shaved your beard. You were like clean shaved. I didn't even fucking recognize you, John. I didn't know who you were. Who is this? Man, you look extremely different.
I do.
Without the fucking beard.
That was the first time because I was 30.
You look like a normal person.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
And that's a bit of an insult, and I am sorry. But you look super normal.
I think that's why I didn't like it. I felt way too of the norm, I guess. So
yeah.
I grew it all back. I did it because that was before the R Bar in December, and I did it that day. It was a spur of the moment decision. I got my hair cut, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna shave the beard off. It was the first time I shaved it since I turned 30, and as I'm doing it, I'm realizing how young I look and how like this, and I was just like, I don't like this at all.
Yeah.
No. And even John Ford didn't recognize me. I remember kind of going up to him and being like, oh, when do I go on? And he kind of looks at me, and you can see him. Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, you're not on the list yet, bud. And
yeah. You got to come out and watch one show first, and then you got to sign up, and that's hilarious. Yeah, you do look fucking completely different. John, what inspired you? Like, what are your inspirations in comedy? Like, what you know, what were you watching growing up that really you know, inspired you?
One of the first stand-ups I seen was my dad and I always used to watch Dennis Leary's No Cure for Cancer.
Fucking A. Man, what a special that is.
That, even at that time, like I saw him do that and I'm like, wow, he gets paid to do that. Like,
yeah.
and, like that one was probably my first introduction to it, really.
Right.
At that time I didn't see any others, and I always kind of thought all comedy was like that. Like, really vulgar and in your face. That's what I loved. And his energy's unreal, and like his chain smoking and
he had a little touch of Dice Clay.
Oh, very much so, yeah.
Yeah, he was like Dice 2.0. Really fucking worked for him. I think since now he's been accused of some joke theft and stuff like that. Who knows, man? People love to attack him. If he never fucking made it, nobody would have said a damn thing.
Exactly.
Right?
And it's so hard because I think, like, I don't necessarily think it was joke stealing. Like, I think you can have a similar premise, but they've compared his jokes to some, because I think it's Bill Hicks that they say he stole off of.
Right.
And it was their cigarette set, I guess. And there are some similarities, but I wouldn't say he ripped it off. Like, I think it's a similar premise, but he takes it in another direction than Bill does.
Yeah. There's no denying, you know, no matter what, he is a fucking talented stand-up, man.
Oh,
he
is he
was a
ever?
talented stand-up. I mean, talented guy all around. The acting, the fucking, the songs he was doing, that asshole song. Fucking brilliant, man. I still sing that to this day.
I do
you know?
too. And I have his
Handicap Faces. I mean, that's one of the best lines, one of the best lyrics ever in any fucking song. Handicap Faces. I love
handicap spaces while they make handicap faces. Mm-hmm. There's this album he did, it was for his special Lock and Load.
Right.
I still have the CD of that. There's some great songs in that one. Elvis and I think it's called.
What is he doing? Just a bunch of comedy songs on this album?
He did a stand-up special called Lock and Load, so it has it has the bits from that set, but it also has songs in between it.
Oh, that's sweet.
It is, yeah. There's some great
fuck
ones.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, Elvis and I is one of them. What was the other one? There's one about the Kennedys on there. I can't remember what it was called now, but it's a great one. I still listen to that. But I love his energy.
Yeah.
And just that real manic and angry, like, just like right from the get-go, too. Like, once he starts, he's
right into it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he starts strong for sure. Yeah. You know, I honestly think that a lot of influences, at least for me, and this is why I want to ask you this question, a lot of influences for me comedically were sitcoms and cartoons and stuff growing up, you know. Of course, The Simpsons were a big part of it. Seinfeld for me. Even before then, though, Three's Company. Even fucking Alf back in the day, you know. What were some of the TV influences, do you think, that maybe influenced your style of comedy?
A lot of the same. I loved Alf, honestly. Actually, Alf was my first word, actually.
How old are you, John?
I'm 32.
Oh, you're 32. Okay, all right. So you're 10, 11 years younger than I am.
Yeah. I loved Elf, Seinfeld. My dad and I used to watch that a lot. I used to watch Saturday Night Live too. I was just heavily watching that. That was a big influence. I love sketch comedy. That was probably one of my first kind of pushes, I guess. I always loved, and I still do want to do, and that's why I'm liking the being on Hard Times, I guess. I like the situations, I guess, and
Yeah.
that kind of humor.
Man, you blew me away. We were filming Hard Times, 2 weeks ago today?
Yeah.
And you were kidnapping me. You come into this fucking Arseholes Anonymous group with a gun. And, man, I was blown away. I thought you had, like, a whole bunch of theater experience or some fucking thing. You blew me away, man. Like, you got right into your fucking character, and you did a fucking great job
thank you so much.
filming that day. Yeah, big time. But you have no previous acting experience.
No, it was actually the same thing as comedy. It was the same deal. Like, I always wanted to do it, but just didn't think I had it, I guess. And it was something I always wanted to do. Like, in my head, I always have, like, ideas for characters. And when Matt posted saying they were looking for someone for a scene who has to wear a ski mask and kidnap the main characters, I was like, okay. So I sent him a message, and he asked me if I was available Sunday, and he said, okay, you're a cokehead named Stinky. And right from the get-go.
That's your character's name, Stinky? Yes.
Stinky Melanson.
Man, you did fucking great.
Oh, thank you. It felt great, too.
Yeah, man. It was real easy to work with. And you didn't trip over any fucking lines. Like, you did fucking great, dude. Now, I've been talking to Matt, and he said that you're thinking you got a project in mind. Some kind of film project.
Actually. It's
Do you want to talk about it, or you want to keep it kayfabe?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Tell me about it. Let's talk about it.
Well, I'm a big horror movie nut. I love I love the old cheesy goodies from like the 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
I love.
You ever see Rawhead Rex?
No.
There's one for you to check out.
Okay, I'll have to remember that.
It's
one.
from fucking way back, man. It's like 80. I think it's 85 to 88. Somewhere in that area. It's the most ridiculous movie. But yeah, check out Rawhead Rex if you can find it somewhere. Fucking hilarious, man. Yeah.
Well, I YouTube that. I'll type in 70s horror or something on YouTube, and the ones they show are just golden. There was one I found called the Devil Master, and I watched it, and I still can't figure out if it was supposed to be a comedy or not. Like, it was a riot. Every character looked like they were off a set of a porn or something, and it was just a riot. But the one that I got thinking, because I love, like, I'm also fascinated by Sasquatches.
Right.
And old 70s Sasquatch horror films. So I had this idea.
Have you had any experience with Sasquatch?
No, unfortunately not.
I've had 3, but
really?
Yeah. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. But anyway.
I had an idea about, right now, 4 hunters that go into the woods, they come across these tracks of a Bigfoot.
Right.
So they follow the tracks. And it eventually leads them to a cave that the tracks are leading into, and they're all waiting outside it, and they have their guns ready for this thing to come out. But they hear footsteps, but then they hear a chainsaw revving up, and it comes out holding this huge, big-ass chainsaw. So the title of the film is going to be...
Bigfoot does.
Yeah, it's going to be called Sasquatch.
Sasquatch, I fucking love it, dude. Oh, I love it. Spludesy going to be a hunter, maybe?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, fucking right.
I need it because I've never hunted, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I can supply us all with guns, too.
Oh, please do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
fuck, we got a project going here. I have a storied history with the Sasquatch.
Really?
Strangely enough, I believe that I saw one behind the ball fields in Forest Hills.
Get out.
Yeah, my buddy and I we were stone sober. We were walking through the woods. It was about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, following this trail behind there. And we came into this bit of a clearing, and there was something there. Now, maybe it was a bear standing on its hind legs. It's hard to tell. Like I said, it was dark. We came out, and there was this figure standing there, gigantic, right? Seemingly. I mean, I'm 5'3", everything's gigantic to me. But it seemed, gigantic. And I looked into its eyes, and it was horrified, like terrified, and it was breathing so heavy, like just like panting almost. And we just fucked off. And that was the end of it. Like I said, it could have been a bear. Now, strangely enough, 2 days after that happened, my buddy Gary came to my house. I lived in Skyline Terrace, just not far from that ballpark. And he took a picture he had a camera, but not there were no cell phones back then, of a big print right by the ball field that, who knows what the fuck it was. Yeah. Anyway, that was just one experience.
Yeah, that's awesome though.
More than likely, it was a bear on its hind legs.
But
I tell it as a fucking Sasquatch.
Sasquatch.
I love that title.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Matt and I are actually we've been kicking around an idea of, and you talked about you love sketch shows, about doing a sketch show.
Oh,
yeah,
that'd be very interesting.
Yeah, and we got some good ideas. I want to do a regular sketch on the show. A news show where I do the news. I want RF to do the sports, because he knows fuck all about sports. I know nothing about news. I think it'd be fucking great.
I love this already.
Yeah, Matt Copeland's the weatherman.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So we've been kicking that around, man. I love working with Matt Copeland. He's well, first of all, he was a terrible stand-up. I don't know if you ever saw him do. Did you ever see him do stand-up?
No.
He was no good.
I think he did the roast battle. He roasted James Hovey.
He was fucking dynamite in that roast battle. I'll tell you that. But just regular stand-up, it wasn't really his thing. But he is a fucking tremendous comedy writer.
Oh, his writing's great. The dialogue he sends for my character has me laughing. Once I'm reading it off my phone, I was like, this is great.
And just the fucking scenarios he comes up with. It's fucking crazy, man.
Even the scene we filmed last Friday night with Brian Giles was great. Brian was great.
The Tuna Man's back.
Oh, he's back. Yeah. There's secrets.
Jesus Christ. I don't think I've filmed anything with Brian in this season. I hope I do have another run-in with him. Those are some of my favorite fucking scenes from season 1.
Oh, he was so good.
Man, the Tuna Man.
Good.
The Tuna Man.
Just the old school gangster persona he has, and even in this scene, the very demanding and very
he nails his character. Man. He's a fucking great actor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Who do you like on this scene that you see, if anybody?
In the comedy scene?
Yes, on the comedy scene.
Who do I like? Well, I've always loved. Arf is just. He's a killer.
I hate it when people say that on here. I listen.
I like you, Splood. I do.
I couldn't agree with you more. I just fucking hate it when people say that. I don't like to see Arf smile. I like him when he's angry and mad. I think we should do a top 5 list and leave him right off.
Yeah, we'll have Ian Esty on there and
Yes. I heard that Ian has retired. From stand-up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think he has so many projects on the go. I mean,
yeah. Well, let's face it. I mean, he wasn't that good at it. For speaking honestly, and I almost always do. He was not very good at it.
Yeah. Sweet dude, though.
Oh, I love Ian, man. I'm a huge Ian Esty fan, but not so much in the stand-up.
Well, I do agree.
Yeah. He could kill a room, but not the good way. Not the good way at all. Who's your favorite working comic right now? Just anybody.
Oh, I'd say Bill Burr.
Bill Burr, good answer. Jesus Christ. Have you been doing your homework? Are you kissing my ass?
No. That's all honesty.
There's something about that. I don't know, him coming up in Boston. I think he's the most relatable. I think for this area, I think he's the most relatable kind of comedy. I fucking love Bill Burr.
Oh, I do too. And my favorite probably is I'm Sorry You Feel That Way.
Yeah.
I love that one. It's that whole bit he does about the Discovery Channel I love. That's it used to be, because he says it used to be about cool things about animals, and now it's just about making cars.
Yeah.
I'll get this bus done by Thursday. I love how he incorporates voices and changes his face. And it's the same with Dennis Leary. He's very aggressive, but at the same time, he's a goofball.
Yeah,
and I really like that in comedians, I guess.
Yeah,
they are very in your face, but at the same time, you're laughing at them.
They're silly. That's what I strive for, man, because I'm an aggressive person, And when I started out in comedy, I was just 100% aggression, and had no idea that aggression, the audience feels it.
Oh yeah.
And it could stop a lot of laughter. It took me, probably close to 3 years to realize that I got to be silly right out of the gate to let them know I'm a fucking idiot and it's okay to laugh at me, I love that style too. Aggression, mixed with silly. I love it.
It goes because I love silly, absurd humor. I always have a lot more British comedy, like Mighty Boosh and all that. I love that real off the wall. There's
Mighty Boosh.
You never heard?
No,
really?
Never heard of it. No.
It was a cult kind of show from I think it was late 90s, early 2000s. It only went 3 seasons. It focuses on these 2 characters. I think the first season they work in a zoo, the second one a magic shop, and I think the third one just takes place in their apartment. But it's British humor and just absolutely balls to the walls insane.
Yeah. I loved Mr. Bean growing up.
Oh yeah, that was a staple for sure.
Yeah,
and Monty Python Flying Circus.
Yeah, I was more of a Benny Hill guy than a Monty Python.
Oh, Benny Hill.
I love Monty Python, but only in small doses.
I have to agree. As much as I do love them, I can't. I can like YouTube their clips. I guess like I'll YouTube Monty Python lumberjack song. But if it's sit through a whole episode, I find it's just like, oh my god. Yeah. They have the animations that just go on for such a long time, and
it's a lot, man. It's a lot in you know, I don't know. Like I want to hear traffic lights song. I want to hear basketball jokes, but I don't want to hear, you know, a fucking bunch of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, the genius of Monty Python is taking an idea and taking it too far, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes even too far, their too far is too far for me.
Yeah,
you know?
they go to left field, like, or like they kind of lose you, I find sometimes.
Yeah.
Like they have you, like, you understand what they're joking about and you're loving it, and then all of a sudden they kind of take this right turn with it, and it kind of goes in some weird territory.
Yeah, they lose you. They lose me in spots for sure. Yeah. What? So you're at the superstore. You loving your job?
Oh, just love it.
Do you though? Do you like what you're doing? You don't?
Well, I love the people I work with. I can't deny that.
Yeah.
I work with some great
well, that
people.
really helps, man.
It does.
Sometimes that's more important than the job you're doing.
Well, that's what kind of keeps me there, and it's really not a bad paying job, and they're pretty flexible. I am looking for something else right now. I think I've just been there for so long, and there's like with anywhere though, there's so much like kind of the political bullshit behind it, I guess.
Yeah,
it's just a little, the people that really drink the Kool-Aid are a little hard to stand sometimes.
The dedicated workers. By the book. It's got to be by the book. It's, you know, but no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing, you're going to be working with fucking idiots.
Oh, that's...
You know, you can't avoid it. But if you like more of the people than you hate at work, you know, it's not that bad.
And that's what it is, yeah. And I get to see them every day, and like I'll admit there are some people there that I can live without seeing.
Yeah, for sure, of course. Yeah,
there's but no, and that's always been a big part for me because I've worked in places where I couldn't stand like anybody I've worked with. Like it's just like, you know, I'm dealing with idiots on the phone, I'm dealing with idiots in the office.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Are you talking like a call center?
Yeah, it was a call center that shut down like 2 months after I left called Stream. And right from the get-go, it didn't really seem like a legit business. It seemed very sketchy at best.
Sketchy,
like a little bizarre. It was like for they said it was for like internet troubleshooting issues, but it seemed like people were just calling about like any computer problem they're having. Like,
right.
You know, like, why isn't my computer turning on? Well, it says here you're in the middle of a power outage, like, so. That was a call I took once.
Yeah. I can't imagine doing call center. When I first moved here, I applied at, I don't know, whatever one that used to be in Parkway Mall there. Oh. And I can't remember what it's fucking called now. Anyway, they refused me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they refused me. I'm like, have you seen my fucking resume, bud? You know what I mean? Like, I've been all over this fucking country, all kinds of fucking skills. I can certainly answer the phone. Yeah. But she said to me, no, I can tell from your personality, you won't last 2 minutes on the floor. Wow. You'll walk away.
That's good.
So we don't want to waste the training on you. Yeah. It's like, well, fuck. I moved to New Brunswick. I can't even get a job at a call center. Tough times, hard times is what it was. Times. Yeah. Luckily, I had an unemployment claim open at the time. Anyway, so yeah, that was all right.
I think that's a compliment, though. Like you should be at a call center.
Yeah,
I think that's a good.
You're not sheep. You're not sheep enough to work here.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I could do it anyway, man. I don't think. Man, that doesn't sound like a lot of fun.
It was very draining. Like, we had like a 9-hour shift, and like I'd get like maybe like 4 calls at the beginning of it, and then there'd be 3 hours without no calls.
Oh,
and you're
fuck.
sitting at a desk, and at this place, because most of the places are a little lenient on it, where they'll let you like read or go online, but this place was nope. You had to like just basically sit there and wait for a call.
You're just sitting there at the ready.
Oh yeah,
no call for 3 hours.
Yeah, and you have the clock right in front of you, so that's moving at a snail's pace.
That's
murderous.
Horrible. Yeah. Any employer that puts a clock right in front of you while you're working is a sadist, man. That's horrible, man. I used to work at a car parts place in Ontario, and I was in the injection department, which we made, we had these giant machines that would plastic inject and mold these, fascias or doors or whatever the fuck we were working on. And it was just so monotonous. A part would come down the line every 32 seconds, right? You had to take it off the line where it's coming, set it down, trim it all up with a knife, torch it, put a sticker on it, bag it, and get it into a fucking rack. And when you turn around, there's 2 more coming down. And there's a clock right in fucking front of you all day. Just brutal. It was brutal. I mean, at 27 an hour, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
You know, money-wise. But, man, it was pure hell.
Oh, yeah.
Pure fucking hell.
Well, the whole work scene is just...
Yeah. Working sucks.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, working sucks. Whoever, and I mean, I know everyone, you know, lauds the unions for the fucking 5-day work week and, you know, the 8-hour work day and all that shit. It's fucking bullshit, man. We shouldn't be working more than 3 days a week.
I agree.
You know,
I entirely agree.
3 6-hour shifts. Right, everybody would be fucking happy.
Yeah, like
unemployment will go down, right? Because now we get all these jobs.
Right.
Oh well, John's only working 3 days for 6 hours. Well, we got to fill the rest of that. Let's bring this guy in after. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And because I think, like, I don't think people should spend more time at their jobs than they do, you know, on their own time. I think, like, then that.
Yeah, we're a slave to money, man.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, it's a horrible fucking system. Well, it's great for the people at top.
Oh yeah.
Not great for us.
Yeah, that's who it's all about. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I even feel that way at the superstore. Like, it's not so much about impressing the customer as it is impressing the suits. I guess. Like, that's who they're really, like, they really don't give a flying shit, you know.
About the customers. Yeah, of course not. They're going to keep coming in.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like people are going to stop. Oh, I'm never going to the superstore again. Yeah, but it's right there. Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
It is.
Like,
right there, yeah.
We've had to evacuate people because the fire alarm goes off, and they're like, oh, I just have to get a couple things.
Yeah.
Like, you do realize, like, this potentially could be on fire.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Yeah. What do you got coming up? When was your last gig? Are you busy right now? Summer seems to be pretty slow around here.
It's been very slow for me. My last gig, I did the amateur night at Yucks a couple weeks ago.
Right.
That was a tough crowd.
Was it?
It was my I think like 4th or 5th amateur night, and that was the toughest I've seen it. It was a small crowd. It was probably about, I'd say about 18 people, I think, but they weren't feeling it. Even Jimmy McKinley, who I've seen kill that place,
right?
Like, I could hear a pin drop during his set, and I was like, wow, if he's like not doing well, this doesn't bode well.
Yeah, for anybody.
And I did all right, I guess. Not like what I'm used to getting, but they were hard to please. I don't know what it was. It looked out to a lot of folded arms and furrowed brows. And
that's fucking terrible.
Make me laugh, funny man.
Yeah, yeah. Like, the crossed arms, man. That's I'd rather be punched in the face than see an audience member with their arms crossed. That's fucking terrible.
Or checking their phone or something.
Yeah.
I had that happen to me at O'Leary's. That was great.
That's fucking terrible. Especially at O'Leary's because it's such an intimate crowd. You know, there's only fucking 10 people there. If one of them's on their phone.
Yeah, like it was 2 guys sitting in front, and literally I started telling a joke, and they took out their phone and started showing each other something on the phone, and I called them out on it. And
of course.
I have to know, like, is a minion meme funnier than I am?
Because that's depressing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, I just can't do. And it was some. Like, you made a whole joke, and I asked to see what it was. It was just some picture of, like, some guy sitting on a toilet or something, and I was like, wow, that's
you're at a comedy show.
Yeah.
And you're searching for comedy on your phone.
Yeah, and they answered a call, like, in the middle of the set, too.
Jesus Christ.
That's one thing that I just can't fucking say.
I saw that happen to a comic at an amateur night at Yucks. Maybe 2 months ago. A girl was on stage, and a girl up in the front row, her phone rang, and she answered it. Hello! What the fuck, man? Now, this was a newer comic that this happened to, so they weren't able to fucking destroy them.
Yeah.
You know, I felt real bad for them.
Oh, yeah.
So I've gone to 2 or 3, I think, of those amateur nights. The last one I went to, Matt Connell was on it, and he and Jimmy McKinley were the only people I recognized on the fucking show.
There's a lot of new people, especially in the last show I did. There was a lot of new faces.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, did you know everybody on the show, or is it still a case of there's a lot of new people starting at Yucks Amateur Night?
I think it was just I knew Jimmy, Matt Keenan was on it, Regina was on it. So I think honestly there was like 3 people I knew. On
and the rest were all new.
Yeah, one of them was a girl from Moncton, Lynn Woods. I guess she's been doing it for a little bit.
I think she took. I saw her last time I was there too. She took Nikki Payne's comedy course.
Oh, yeah. I heard of that.
Women only.
Yeah. Oh, was it?
Women only. Oh, yeah, because, comedy's supposed to be, gender versus gender.
Oh, my God.
I never fucking got that.
I don't either. I don't like this. I think, there are female comics I really like, but I hate all this talk that it's, somehow harder for female comics. I really don't think it is.
Listen, I'm on page with you. Keep going.
Well, especially in this day and age, like you go on Netflix, most of the specials are female comics.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just hate it. It's always like, oh, she's a female comic. Oh, good for you. Like, why are we bringing gender into it? Like, I think you should be proud of anyone going up on stage, has the balls enough to go on stage and do that. Like, regardless of their gender. Like, it's hard for everyone to get into it.
For sure it is.
One side specifically.
Well, and I think it's just the opposite, man. Like, I don't know I can't tell you how many shows I've seen, even just around here, where it's all women's, it's fucking, women's fucking month or whatever, and we're going to do a women's month show where it's all chicks. You couldn't do that with dudes.
Oh, no,
right?
exactly.
You'd be fucking killed. You'd be tarred and feathered.
Yeah, well,
we're doing an all guys show.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine the fucking backlash.
Well, look at the shit that happens, like when Wilsers post their lineup, and then there may not be any women on it, and there's always like backlash about that.
Really?
I'm like, oh, I've seen it, and it's like, well, none maybe signed up, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's not. They make it sound like it's like women are being forced out of it or something like that. But that's not the case.
Couldn't
at
be
all.
further from the fucking truth.
No.
Now, I'll be honest. There are a lot of female comics that I fucking hate because I find that a lot of female comics just talk about being female.
Exactly.
You know?
That's one thing, and I'd say the same with like I'm not saying, and this I could get shit for this.
Oh, listen, you're on the SPLUDECAST. You're going to be in shit just by association, John.
I feel that way with a lot of homosexual comedians too. Like nothing.
Right.
I find that that's all it is. That's all the humor is just the fact that they're gay, and, and I get tired of that. Like
I'm with you. Yeah, absolutely. For the women, it pissed me off so much. I got booked on Shane booked me on a show back in 2015, I think, where the headliner was a female, and there was another female comic on it. I was basically going to be surrounded by females. So I said, fuck this. That's when I wrote this, the joke, the bit I have about women's periods.
Right.
Now, it's, the joke starts off like, oh, poor me, I got these periods, it must be so tough. I end up celebrating women and saying how tough it is and getting the crowd, bringing the crowd around to applaud them and stuff. But I wrote that in response to being surrounded by women. I don't think I ever would have wrote that bit if I was never booked on that fucking show. I'm glad I was, because it turned out to be a very strong bit for me. But, yeah, I just get tired of hearing the same fucking shit, about your fucking furry vagina and it just seems to be a lot of the same stuff. I don't know if most women have the tenacity for comedy.
I'd agree with that.
I mean, we're just, as dudes, we're crude. We're harsh, man. We're rough. Dudes are way harsher and rougher. There are obviously exceptions, and those are usually the best female comics. But yeah, man, I don't know. There's no female comics on this scene that fucking blow me away. That's for sure. And there's lots of great people.
Oh,
right?
No, I totally agree with
that. But the crowds will tell you who's good and who's not.
Yeah, that's all back to that. You don't really know until the crowd, I guess. They're the judges.
Yeah, it's instant feedback. You
Oh,
know.
yeah.
But the only thing that really bothers me about it is you can't say you don't like a female comic.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you're a misogynist. Oh, you just don't like women. And this is just a boys' club and all that fucking shit. Man, there are a million fucking male comics I hate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't know, man. I get tired of this. We have to put her on because we need one girl on the show.
Yeah.
Well, do we, or do we need the funniest people on the fucking show?
Yeah. And I find most of the specials on Netflix with the female comics, it's not so much a comedy set as it is like a spoken word. It's like I think the crowds applaud more than they laugh.
Yeah.
During them, like it's almost like some weird TED talk or something like that.
And this, and here's something else that's been bothering me in comedy lately is the fucking applause break. When you're up there and you say a joke and people applaud, it makes you feel good, right? You're like, okay, they appreciate that I wrote that. I would prefer laughter.
I'm the same way.
Because there's a lot of people that are writing stuff that is smart, but not necessarily funny. That applause break, and I hear sometimes people around here will brag about, I got 3 applause breaks. Yeah, but how many laughs did you get?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. The audiences seem, I don't know, they're giving out applause more than they're giving out fucking laughter. I don't know. I don't care for it.
The one that always kills me are the silent laughers, the ones that like cover their face and like I'm like, you can laugh, like
yeah,
get it out. Like,
please
that's what
laugh.
I want to hear.
Please laugh, because I want that guy in front of you to fucking laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
I love doing comedy, man, where you get like a weird laugher in the fucking crowd, and then every time they laugh, people start laughing at their laughter. like the way that they laugh or something. I love that on a fucking show. What's been your best show so far?
My best show was actually in Hell's Basement last month. That's a great venue.
Preach, brother. Fucking right. You know what? The only drawback from that show is there's no green room. It's the only thing I hate about that venue. It's the only thing that's lacking, because other than that, man, it might be the best room in Atlantic Canada.
I'd say so. The crowd loved me, like right from the get-go.
Nice.
Like, right from my first joke, I had them, and I got a couple applause breaks of that one too. And
yes.
I felt great after that set.
Yeah.
I was kind of worried going. I don't know,
How much time did you do?
15, 20. I think I ended up doing 20 at the end.
Yes.
I always find determining time on stage so hard.
Do you?
I do. Like, I always, because I thought I was under when I finished. I was like, oh, Jesus, like, I was under. And then I asked Brian. He was like, no, you clocked in at 20 exactly.
Shit.
To me, I find it just flies right by.
It does go fast, man. You know what's weird, John, is that the more time you do, the quicker it goes by.
Yeah, I know.
When I first headlined Chuckles, I planned on doing 60 minutes, right? Like a firm. And I'm pretty good. I'm just the opposite of you. With time, I almost always know exactly where I am. You know, I can look at a bit and go, I know how long that's going to take me to do. In fact, the last time I went to Yucks, Steve asked me if I wanted a light. He's like, you got 7 minutes. If you want a light, you at 6. I'm like, don't bother lighting me, man. I know where I'm going to be, right?
Yeah.
Taking into account laughter and stuff, I know, within 30 seconds of exactly how long I'm going to fucking be. And I'm usually right. But when I headlined there, both nights, I did like over like an hour and 15 minutes both nights. I think the Friday night I did an hour and 17 minutes with only 60, prepared minutes.
Right.
I thought in my fucking head. It just seems the longer you go, the fucking faster it goes.
That's,
But I've been lucky because I've always done well when I go long. I've never experienced, having to do, obligated to do 60 minutes and start bombing 20 in.
yeah.
I've been pretty fortunate. I can imagine that's probably, that probably feels like an eternity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And well, that was the thing. Well, like we said, that the longer the set, the faster it goes, is because I want to do longer sets. Because the 5 to 7 minutes, like, I could just, whenever I finish, like, I know I could just keep going.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted the longer set, but they just fly faster than those ones do.
Yeah,
So,
I know. It's weird, eh?
yeah.
What's your writing process? How do you come about these fucking jokes? What do you do?
I do a lot of observational, I guess, like things I see at work, but I find I can't really force it though. I have a hard time sitting myself down saying I have to write. I go through spurts where like it'll just kind of like come to me and I'm just like, okay, I have to write this down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like, I guess it's something I have to like work on. I guess be a little more studious or whatever with it.
I guess, I just talked to Sam Laidman about this actually. I used to, when I was I did this gig on the radio. It was like a minute every week.
Is it the Spawn of St. John?
Yeah, the Spawn of St. John. I did that for like a year and a half. I think I did 75 or 76 episodes. When I was doing that, I was forced to sit down and be creative. And it was working for me with the Spawn of St. John. So I said, well, I'm going to try, using that formula for stand-up comedy. And I would sit down and write every day. Whether I came up with something or not, I'd sit in front of the computer and I'd come up with something, whether it was funny or not. And that really elevated my comedy. I no longer do any of that shit.
Oh.
I do the same thing you're talking about, right? If something comes to me,
Yeah.
I'll pull out the phone, make a note. Maybe I'll flesh it out when I got a show coming up, right? Now, do you write stuff right out and then memorize it? Because I've never seen you with like paper and shit on stage.
I try to memorize it as best I could because I don't like seeing, like I'm like you, I don't like seeing the phones on stage, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I understand it, like it is hard to memorize, but you should still do it. I
Yeah.
guess I find the phone kind of distracting, and I think like, and I had to do that myself because when I first started, I was worried about memorizing, and I didn't want to. I knew if I started using my phone, it would be a crutch. Like I just rely on it too much, and I think that's what happens. Is like, they almost panic without it, I guess.
Yeah.
So I try my best to memorize it. Like I find what helps me is writing it out, like pen to paper. That helps me memorize it a lot.
Oh,
more.
the actual pen and paper.
Yeah. I find typing my phone, like I'll put like ideas and then write it actually. I find that just helps me memorize it a bit more.
For sure. Yeah. That's the important thing. The reason I have a hard time understanding why people can't memorize it is because I came up with the joke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's my joke. And then I wrote it down. I don't understand how you can't fucking memorize it.
Yeah, that's
like
what I
you
don't-
wrote it, and then you wrote it all out, and then you must have looked at it a couple times, right, to edit it, to vet it, and then you don't remember it. I don't know, but I know everyone's got a different kind of memory.
Yeah.
For some reason, I have a fucking great memory. I don't know how. I've been punched in the head a lot. I've done a lot of hard drugs. You know, I don't have a lot of schooling, and I don't appear very, intelligent. But I have a great fucking memory, so I've never struggled with that. But you're right; it takes me right out of the performance. If I see that phone come out, if I see those notes come out, I don't know. If you can hide it,
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
I've seen people do that, like put it on their, like I like it when people put it on their water bottle or something,
Yeah.
and then as long as they don't noticeably like read it in
Who
front
was
of
it that did that? There was someone within the last year who did it. I think it was from Chris's first class.
Oh, Steph.
Maybe it was
I
Steph
think,
who did
yeah.
it, who did the whole fucking water bottle.
Yeah.
And then she was holding up the bottle, reading the fucking bottle. Kind of defeats the purpose, but you got to give someone. I mean, I think that was Steph's, maybe her second set.
Yeah.
You got to give. Give people a
yeah.
little fucking leeway. I mean, I come on here on this podcast and tear people down all the fucking time. But the truth is, everybody gets a fucking pass, man. You're that new in comedy, you're getting a pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was one thing I guess that we all kind of prided ourselves on our first show, like from Ken's class, is none of us had notes.
Oh, that's
We all went
fantastic.
up and I think Ken was really impressed by that. And
Yeah.
and I think one time I brought like a sheet on, but it wasn't like I just set it on the floor and just wrote like trigger words, I guess.
Yeah. I do that for every show, no matter what I'm doing. I write down bullet points, right? Like one word, and then I take that piece of paper and I put it in my back pocket just in case. I've never had to pull it out. I've been very lucky, but I always have it just in case. It's a safety blanket, right? In case you do, you might fucking blank up there. You don't know what's going to happen, right?
Oh, it's happened to me. Yeah, and I don't know. I guess in those times, I wish I started doing that, and that is something I should do more. I guess just bring that, but like I said, just like little trigger words or something, and just and hide it and try not to look.
Yeah, I mean that's
too
really all you
obvious.
need, right? So there were 8 people in your class.
Yep.
They're not all still doing comedy, are they?
No, I think it's only Chris, Dan, Shand, and I.
Yeah.
Still, Andrea, I think does it every once in a while.
Oh, Andrea Kay. Okay,
Yeah.
I remember her being on the scene. Yeah.
Yeah, she did a couple of Yucks gigs, I think, but I don't know if she's still doing it or if she has anything coming up or not.
Yeah, I haven't heard that name in a long time. So, but there were obviously 2 or 3 who never did another show after that.
Yeah, they were. One in particular was Tammy. She's really good, and I'm trying to encourage her to do more. She's done more No Jokes Barred.
Oh, really?
She's done a couple more, I think. She was
Yeah,
supposed
yeah.
to be in the last one, but something came up and she couldn't. But I'm trying to encourage her more. She is really good, and even Ken told her that she has really good material, but she gets the nerves really bad.
Oh, really? Stage fright?
Yeah. And I get it because I still get scared to death like before I go on.
Do you
So,
really?
It's getting a little easier now. It's not so much for like the open mics. It's more so for like the Yuck shows. And I was nervous for Hell's Basement because a whole new city and which was
Yeah.
kind of exciting, like a whole new crowd to try my stuff on.
Absolutely.
And then ended up going really well, better than any show I've done in Fredericton or anything like that.
Yeah. Man, Fredericton's a tough
It's
fucking
a
place,
very
man.
tough crowd.
Yeah.
My thing with Fredericton is I think the Fredericton crowds come out to see their own mostly.
Yeah.
Because one of the last Wilser show I went to, it would be like, oh, he's from Fredericton, and then the crowd just erupts. But then it's
really?
like, this is the guy from St. John, and they turn behind him and start talking to the person
Oh,
behind
really?
them. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Like they even had someone from Halifax, and then like the crowd you could just see like just snapped out of it and just started talking to each other. And
Yeah. Lot
That's how I've
of
seen
lot
it,
of
anyway.
Hillary Clinton supporters up there. I think that's the main fucking problem up there in Freddie.
all the university town.
Yeah. The Moncton historically, I mean, other than this Hell's fucking Basement, Moncton for me has been the worst fucking place.
Oh, really?
Maybe other than PEI. Moncton is, I don't know, it's a black hole. Those people do not give a fuck about comedy. Hell's Basement is the only place I've ever done comedy where people want you to do comedy.
Oh, they were very receptive of it. And
Yeah.
very enthusiastic, and I had people coming up to me afterwards telling me how much they enjoyed it. But that's
How
so
great is that
Oh,
feeling?
it feels amazing, especially like looking out and just seeing smiling people. And then there's like one guy in the corner, like just cracking up, like keeling over. Like that felt so good.
Yeah,
like,
man.
that was.
Yeah, it gives you a boner.
Oh, it does. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
A rager.
Those are comedy boners. I fucking, man, there is, you know what's funny? I've been on break now for 4 months, almost to the day. And it feels like 10 years.
Oh, really?
It feels like 10 years, man. Now I'm starting to miss it. If you asked me last week or 2 weeks ago, I'd be like, psh, I'm not even sure I'm coming back.
Oh, wow.
But now I'm really getting the itch. It feels like I've been away forever.
Do you usually take breaks? Like, would you recommend doing it that
I don't
way?
know if I could. You know what? I don't know if I could recommend it or not, John. To be honest with you, you know, when I first started, like I said, I did 6 months, maybe 7, but I was very active. You know, there wasn't a lot of comedy here at that time in 2013, but I was traveling all over, right? Halifax, Dartmouth, Miramichi. I was all over the place because there were no fucking shows here. Shane was the only one putting on shows at that time.
Oh, really? So it was just Chuckles then?
It wasn't even Chuckles at that time. It was just Shane Ogden Presents, and it was being done at the 3 Mile.
Oh, wow.
And so I didn't recognize any of the names. I thought it was all just a pure pro show, right? I didn't know that he was putting local guys up because I didn't know there was any other locals. That was long before I met John Ford. I met John Ford actually the day that I did my very last set before I took a year off. I met him and Steve Fudge at Wilzer's room, and that was my last show. So anyway, there wasn't a lot going on. I didn't feel like traveling for comedy. It just felt like there was no comedy. Nobody wanted it here. So I stopped doing it. And I ended up getting a job that was, you know, I was working around the clock, working a lot of, you know, off hours and shit, you know, on call kind of stuff. And then I came back after a year because I was sitting around and I missed it. You know, I missed comedy. And I typed into Google or something, stand-up comedy in St. John, New Brunswick. And John had a ad on Kijiji for the R Bar.
Like, wow.
I was like, wow, well, why the fuck not use it? It's a free service, right? But I just found it so odd. I'm like, comedy at the R Bar. And, you know, this time, I don't fuck around with Facebook, right? I was on Facebook for maybe 14 or 16 months just to try to push my comedy career. Realized it's not for me, man. I ended up with a lot of beefs.
Yeah, it's
You know, because people will say shit on Facebook that they would never say to your face.
Oh, it's very true. Yeah.
So it's just such a different world. I'm an old school guy, man. You say shit to me, we're gonna fucking talk about it. You know, it's not like, oh, I'm behind a computer and I'm like, I don't fucking fly that way, you know. Anyway, so that's how I found out that there was, you know, these shows at the R Bar. And when I came back, I fell right back in love with it. Felt like I picked up where I left off. And, but yeah, since then I've taken 3 months here, 6 months there, and it's helped me. But I am worried, you know, when I left in April, I was, you know, one of the top comics on the scene. I don't know what that's going to look like when I go back, you know.
Right.
I'm probably going to suck when I go back because it's, you know, it's a thing you got to keep fucking doing, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
You know what it's like if you go a month without doing a set and then you go up on stage and you're fucking super nervous before you go out there. Your timing's off a little. You know, it's something you got to fucking keep up. But I will tell you, I can't encourage anybody to take a break because, you know, comedy's different for everybody. But it has served me well. The last break I took, I think, was 4 months. And when I came back, man, I felt like a completely different comic. I felt like I turned a corner and I found something different and became more successful. So, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it for anybody because it is a thing that you should be doing as often as possible to get better. But for me, it served me well.
Well, yeah.
In the past, you know, I'll let you know September 8th how this break went for me.
Oh, is that when you get back?
Yeah, I'm getting back September 7th. I'm doing Deluxe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, at O'Leary's.
I like that show.
I love that show, man. I haven't even been out to watch that show in a long fucking time. I love that room. But it's different now, right? They moved it down to where the bar is now.
Yeah, because I think the first time I went, you were headlining, and it was up in the other room with against the brick wall there.
Right. How did I do?
You did great.
Oh,
one.
good.
That was a good one. Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah.
good. How do you find it now? Like, when's the last time you did O'Leary's?
I did it in, I think it was April.
Was that your first time doing 15?
Nope, I did it before in November. I blanked out a lot of that one. That was not one of my shinier moments. I did it all right. I still got some laughs, but I completely blanked out halfway through my set. And ironically, it was like right before a pot joke, so it was.
Well, that works out well. Did you use that?
I did.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect. Yeah.
I was just kind of like, oh yeah, pot smoking, and then everyone's like, so I kind of turned it into a whole thing, like how I'm not really a good reason for legalization, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not exactly the poster guy. Those aren't those the best moments in comedy though?
Oh, they are.
When you're up there and you find something in the moment. I think that's what draws people to crowd work. You know, why it gets so addictive. Because it is that feeling where, I mean, you sit down, you write a joke, and you take it to the stage, and you do it, and it does well, right? Well, you almost expected it.
Yeah.
But it's those unexpected laughters, right? Where you go, oh, that felt really good. You know, really good. I don't think written material can ever beat the best crowd work guy, no matter how good the material is.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's something about making the crowd feel like it's in the moment and they're a part of the show too. It's a combination of those two.
I haven't really ventured into a lot of crowd work yet.
Well, you probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, this early on in your career, you probably shouldn't. You know,
Yeah,
I see a lot
really...
of locals saying, I even hear it, you know, quite a bit, them saying, you know, I want to get into more crowd work, more crowd. Listen, we you know, the longest comic here has only been doing comedy for 5 years, you know, other than Shane, you know, guys like that. You shouldn't even be fucking with crowd work in your 5 years.
Yeah, I have no real desire. I part of me just thinks like I have to do it because it's like some part of rite of passage kind of deal. But it's I don't know. I don't really like talking to people, I guess, for the most part.
Yeah.
But I like I think you said it best. I saw one of your sets where you said you like comedy because it's a one-sided conversation.
Right.
That's what I love about it. And I thought that was great because I put in the words like what I was thinking.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I love that bit. Yeah. And it's true, right? That's why I love it, because they can't talk back.
Yeah.
You know, I'll sit here tonight and I'll smoke some dope and I'll hang out with my wife and I'll crack her up, but she's able to talk back.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe I had another great fucking bit coming right behind that. You know what I mean? That's why I love stand-up. You can't say nothing. And if you do, you're opening the door for me to wreck you.
Yeah.
If you say something. I haven't had many hecklers. Have you dealt with many hecklers?
I haven't. I don't know if I'd call them hecklers. They're like people that mistake comedy for a conversation.
Right.
Like I had
a lot of that going on. Yeah.
I had a woman at McGill's once that was like, she, after everything I said, was like, oh yeah, I get it. I get that. Like,
and it's not even heckling, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
And
it's weird, but it's ruining the fucking show.
Oh, it is.
But it's not like, you know, heckling your joke or whatever. Yeah. It's hard. You know, dealing with a heckler is so tricky. It's so tricky, man.
So I'm so grateful I haven't really run into some. Like because I don't know. I'd hope that, because I think like on the spot I do well.
Sure.
Kind of shutting them up. Hopefully, like I have a hard time thinking now like what I would say, but I guess it would have to be kind of like in the moment.
In the moment,
and
yeah.
Like, they could say anything literally.
Sure.
You can't predict what people are going to say.
That's right. It's funny. I haven't dealt with many hecklers either, and most of my heckling has been, you know, just commentating. Right? Not necessarily heckling me. It's funny because in the beginning, when I started in comedy, I would do comedy, you know, I'd drop a punchline and then I'd hear people talking in the audience and I'd go right after them. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, would you talk in a movie theater or whatever you say, right? And what I didn't realize in those early days is that a lot of those people were just talking about what I just said to the other person at the table, which is really kind of a compliment.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I said something that you know, struck a nerve with them enough to say, oh my God, can you believe he just said this? And they're actually talking about it. Never mind the fact they're missing, you know, the tag or whatever else. But, you know, that used to make me angry. I used to go, like, I didn't have many hecklers when I started, but sometimes, you know, because most of the rooms I did in the beginning weren't there for comedy. They just happened to be at the venue, and there just happened to be comedy there. So some people would talk, and I would attack those people so quickly, not realizing that attacking a heckler is, you know, there's a skill about that too. You have to wait. What I had to learn was you have to wait until the room hates that person.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Because I feel like you have to keep the audience on your side. You have to have the audience like with you against this one person, but you don't ever want them to join in like with that person.
Yeah.
There was an interesting case. I don't call it heckling or what, but I went to Chuckles last month. Paul Mearhog.
I heard he's a fucking killer.
Oh, he's hysterical. He was.
Is that right?
Oh, he was great. But there was a girl sitting in the front row, and she kept making this bizarre hiccup sound, but it sounded more like she was going, yeah! And I think, like, at first it was, like, whatever it was like a hiccup or whatever, but it just seemed to happen every time he was doing a punchline, so I think after a while it started to be a thing, and he actually asked her to leave.
No shit.
Oh, he did.
Paul did.
Yeah, I liked it, but her friends got really upset about that afterwards and made some like snide remarks at him or something, saying, "Oh, she has anxiety, like you shouldn't like that." And it's like,
Jesus, fuck. Well, wear a shirt that says that.
Yeah,
then.
exactly.
Jesus
Like I hate
that's
like some sort of an excuse to be an asshole.
Isn't that that's always the way with mental illness, though? Oh, I can't help it. I'm an asshole because I suffer from this.
Yeah, and you can't say
anything.
Go
fuck yourself. I hate that. Listen, I've been hitting that fucking head a lot. A lot, John. If anybody has mental illness, it's me. And I don't use it as a fucking crutch,
Yeah, well, that's what's annoying me, and that's what it is it does give them this, like, get out of retribution free card.
Yeah.
To, like, kind of, like, say or do whatever they want. And
yeah. It's disgusting, man.
Oh, it
but
is.
you got to be careful because I've gone after people in the crowd before the crowd's ready for me to go after that person, and they've turned on me,
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's terrifying. It's that's so now if there's anything going on in the room, I address it, but you got to be careful before you go all in on somebody. You got to make sure that crowd's with you.
Oh yeah, and you have to. Like I opened for Yuck's Jason Rouse last April.
Oh, nice.
I love Jason, but his the balls in that guy, his crowd work is unbelievable. Like the things he was saying,
things
like,
he says are fucking crazy, man.
They are like.
I opened for him too at Chuckles, and I was a little disappointed when I saw him because I knew almost all the material, but it didn't seem to matter.
Yeah,
I think everybody in that crowd knew all his material, and it doesn't matter with a guy like Jason. There's just something about him. It's his charisma mixed with the crazy shit he fucking says.
Yeah.
You can repeat it. It works.
His physical comedy's amazing. And it was the same deal because he did some
physical comedy. When he's talking about mixing the paint, when he's talking about fucking his the grandmother and mixing the paint.
He did that for like
the noises.
Solid like minute.
Right.
He did it, and then afterwards he kind of like stops and looks out in the crowd and goes, "So airplane food sucks, huh?"
Yeah.
And like, I loved it. Like I thought that was so good.
Yeah, and that's a great thing to say, and he used that. That's something that's a go-to for him. So if you've seen him more than once, it's like, okay, I do see that trick. But when you see the crowd who has never experienced that and how they respond to that, I love that because it's what he's saying is, yes, what I'm saying is fucking crazy, raunchy, dirty. But do you really want to talk about airplane food?
Yeah.
Do you really want the run-of-the-mill fucking comedy? This is what I'm giving you. I'm giving you something different.
Oh, he's a smart guy, and I think his writings. That's what I like about him is he's very. I find a lot of like I like vulgar humor, but I find sometimes they sacrifice the writing quality, I guess, just to be vulgar. Like it's just for the shock. But for him, his jokes are so well written, and like I love this like kind of this the twists in them, I guess, like leading you one way and then all of a sudden just taking this
Left turn.
Yeah, like there's that joke that he does that I love where he talks about his father catching him smoking, and he said, "Oh, my father is really strict, so he took my brother and I out to the backyard and he took out a cigar and made us suck his dick." And like it was like, and I heard that joke before, but like he still somehow made it new.
Yeah,
like the way he told it, or something, the delivery about it, it still felt very fresh. And he did some new stuff that night too. That was really cool to see.
He's not a great person. Did you meet him?
I did.
Did you talk to him?
I did. He had some good stuff to say about my set, which felt,
that's fantastic.
That felt great.
Yeah.
It was funny because when I first got there, I was kind of nervous about him seeing my comedy, and he wasn't in the green room. And I was a little disappointed, but at the same time, I was like, all right.
I'm almost glad he's not there because now I can relax before my set. Yeah.
But then I went on stage and saw him standing by the bar at the end of the room.
Oh, shit.
And it felt kind of good because I told the joke that kind of fell flat, but he told me, he was like, oh, don't fuck that crowd. He was like, that joke was great. And I was
nice.
I was like, oh, thank you so much. And he was really, he was good to talk to. And
he wasn't real friendly when I met him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, he wasn't real friendly. And Travis performed in that show too.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
And Travis is a huge Jason mark. Like, he fucking loves Jason Rouse.
Oh, yeah.
One of his comedy heroes. And when Travis was on there, Jay wasn't even watching what he was doing. He was on his phone, and then he just looked up halfway through Travis' set. He looked up at me and goes, "He's bombing."
Oh, really?
I was like, "Oh, dude, please be nice to him after the show.
Yeah.
This kid loves you, man. Come on, you know."
Yeah, that's.
But I think he was complimentary to Travis afterwards. So,
that's good.
You know who I think is one of the best at those left turns on this scene is Ben McDonald.
Oh, Ben, yeah.
Man, Ben can hit a fucking left turn. Like, man, he impresses me more with that left turn on this scene than anybody else. And I know Matt Keenan's good at it too. He's a good left turner. I like to think myself. I like to think I take good left turns. Ben might be the strongest on the scene.
He's very
at
good.
taking left turns. I love it. The way he uses his dad's gayness as left turns. I love it. I
Well,
dig
like when he
this
was
shit.
talking about his dad being homophobic, and he goes, "Yeah, it really makes his relationship with Steve very complicated."
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That was so good. Like, and speaking of like what ones we're jealous of, like
Yeah, for sure.
Like his delivery, his joke writing, like all solid.
I think honestly, I think he could take this scene over if he continues to work as hard as he does. Continues to turn over new material. He's gonna be a fucking killer.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, he's confident too. Very.
Well, and he has a little bit of, he has some stage experience, right? Some acting experience.
does he?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that helps. What's been like what's been your worst show? Your biggest bomb so far?
Worst show. I'd say it was
The one where you went home and you wanted to crawl under the blankets and never do fucking comedy again. That's
I think
the one
that
I'm
was
talking
when I
about.
did Wilsers in Fredericton last December.
That one can kill you. That room can kill you, dude.
I did it in September and I did pretty good. Like, didn't do great, but I did pretty good at that one. So I was feeling pretty good at this one, and it was like some of them were doing good, some of them weren't, and I felt pretty good that night. And but it just fell flat. I got some laughs,
And you felt good going into it?
I did.
That's the
I
worst. When you're
did,
sitting there going, chomping at the bit, going, "Oh yeah, I got this. And then you get up and you don't got this.
Well, it was because it was mostly a new set I did, and I was like driving there, and I was all excited to do it, and then I felt miserable about it afterwards. I was like, "Oh, that's obviously a garbage set," but I tried the same set again at McGill's, I think like a week after, and killed then. And that really felt good too.
Yeah, that brings you right back, man.
Yeah, oh, it does. That's what, and I think that's the best cure for it. Once you have a shit show, just do another one and do better.
Yeah, it's like a relationship, right? Like if you break up with a girl and your heart's broken, all you got to do is go out and fuck another girl.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, yeah.
And you're cured. It's weird how it works. You're
Works for me.
Yeah, you're cured. I love it. What's going on with your writing right now? Are you writing hot and heavy? Are you stuck in a bad spot? Where are you?
I was coming out of a bad spot. I'm doing pretty good now, though. I got a good steady stream going on now.
Nice. How much time do you think you've written in this year that you've been in there? Because how much like time do you think you've written so far since you've been in? Because I've seen you, I think 3, maybe 4 times, and I've only when you first started, I think I saw you twice in a 2-month span, and it was both the same set.
Oh, okay.
And then the next time I saw you, it was a different set.
So
and then the next time it was another different set.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how much time do you think you could do right now?
I think I have maybe like 35, 40 minutes maybe.
Man, that's pretty good after a year.
I took kind of stock the other night. Like I just kind of like looked through my notebooks and looked through all my notes, and I have more than I thought I did.
Yes.
Because I was kind of kicking myself in the ass, thinking like I didn't have enough for what I was doing. But and there's some I forgot about, honestly, that I did, and I'm like, well, I should do that again because that one was really good.
That's a good sign, and that's a good feeling too, man. When you look back over your shit and you go, "Oh fuck, I forgot about that. I only did that once or twice. I should fucking bring that back." And yeah. I know last year in 2017, I was writing like a fucking madman, and every time I went out to do comedy, it was new, and some of it was great and some of it was not. But even the stuff that was not, I found it, later in the year and went, oh shit, I only did this one time. This once at O'Leary's, and there was like 8 people who fucking saw it. That's it. I'm gonna bring that back. You know, that's a great fucking feeling.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
What do you think, man? There is a bit of a dilemma in this area with people repeating material. What's your thought on how often to present new material? And please don't just agree with me.
Yeah.
Because I'm a bit of a fucking madman.
Yeah, I guess with me it depends really on the venue, I guess. Like if you keep doing the same venue over and over again, doing the same shit, like that's like and I'm kind of getting used to it now just because like I've seen a lot of the comics now. I've heard a lot of their jokes now.
Sure.
So like you kind of like expect it almost. But to me, I think it really depends on the venue, I guess.
Yeah. And that's what I've always done, man. Like I have a list on this very computer right here that has a venue and it has all the bits I've done at that venue. And I will never do that again at that venue. You know, I think is important.
Yeah, because I find for the most part the same people come to the venue. Like there's like people that like almost like standards you see come to the Arbor.
Yeah, a recurring crowd for sure. Yeah,
word,
absolutely.
And I think like and you want to give them something new and refreshing too. But I don't know. I can't really say like what I'd say the time should be, but I think there are some that definitely need to like move on and do new stuff. Like,
for sure.
Some that's still like, and like it's still funny, I guess. In 11, it still works for them. If it still works for them, sure, whatever. But
I guess, but you know, yeah. And now this is the SPLUDECast, so we got to shit on one person in particular and name names. But you mentioned Jimmy McKinley earlier, and now listen. I'm going to preface this, and Ben McDonald's going to hate this because he says, if you're going to shit on somebody, please don't start with, I love this person, or he's a nice person. But Jimmy McKinley is a friend of mine, and I love Jimmy.
He's a great guy.
He's a great fucking guy. But, you know, he repeats material a lot, and he gets booked a lot at Yuck Yucks. Like, I've seen him at Yucks 3 times, and he's repeated the same material. You know, he mixes it up, he switches the order or whatever, or maybe he's got, you know, one new joke in there. But he repeats a lot of material. And you got to think it hurts the fucking crowd. You got to think it hurts that business. You know, it's, I hate to see it, man.
I am the same way, yeah. But I think Yucks kind of looks for that, though.
They do. They do, really... which is, you know, it's funny because a lot of people around here will say, well, Yucks is not booking me and I'm not getting booked at Yucks. That might be a good fucking thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It might be a good fucking thing. Yeah. I mean, if you go there and you see the products that they're putting out, you know, you might say to yourself that, well, that's a good thing they're not booking me because I'm not repeating material. I'm not, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's important to present new material every time at a venue, right? Yeah. It's also important to build your set, to work on that material, to get it to a great place, right? Because when you first write stuff, you go, oh, yeah, this is fucking hilarious, and it's done. And then you get out there and you realize, oh, it's not quite done. Or maybe while you're out there, you add a tag, and it takes that bit somewhere completely different, right? So it's important to continue to do those bits, but not at the same venue fucking over and over, you know?
Well, I saw like a Yucks comic do that once, and it was funny because I looked over in the crowd, and there was like 2 people like mouthing their set as they were doing it. So I was like, oh, so he's done this before. So
yeah,
I think that's a bad sign.
It's definitely a bad sign. Yeah, and I've talked about it on here before. We all went out to a show one time at Yucks, and Darren Elmore was on stage.
That was the one, actually.
That was the you had the same experience.
Yep.
So a crowd member was finishing his punchline.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was hilarious. It was this couple that was sitting over there, and they were laughing more at themselves, each other.
That they knew the jokes. Yeah.
And it was they had it. Like, I saw them mouthing it to a T. And this is around the time when because I heard of them up until this point, because Ken, I think, told me about him just doing the same set over and over again.
Right.
And it was funny because Ken told me some of the jokes that he told. And sure enough, when I went to see him at Yucks, those were the jokes he told. And I was like, wow. So
especially on the weekends. Worst smoothie ever. Yeah. I mean, he's, you know. Yeah, Darren's a very special case. You know, the thing that drives me crazy about Darren, and the only reason that I call him out on this stuff, because he's one of those guys that will tell all the new comics and tell anybody who will listen, this is what you have to do. Yeah. You have to build your A set, your A 20 minutes, and shop at the clubs and festivals and keep doing that same 20 minutes over and over. What the fuck are you talking about? This is not 1987.
Yeah.
Okay?
You're not showing anybody anything by doing the same set over again. You got to show that you have the capability to go further, I guess.
Yeah.
And keep doing it, like, because like they're gonna think like this is all he's got, kind of a thing. Like,
Well, not only that, John, a joke is only funny once. If I know the fucking punchline, it's only good once.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's but I also see it with the new comics around here. A lot of people are repeating the same fucking shit, and it's dangerous, man.
I think so too.
You know, it's affecting our scene. When you look at the crowds, and the crowds are dwindling, right? The crowds have been going down, and that's a big reason. I feel.
Yeah, I think that too, and I think because I get it too. Like I've had jokes that go really well. I'm like, oh, I'm going to use that one again, but I do realize the limit of it though. Like I'll say it again. I'm like, okay, maybe they're done with that one now.
Yeah.
But I think some of them do kind of get too carried away and think like, oh, that's a killer. I'm just going to keep doing that and get the laugh.
Well, it's the easiest thing to do, John.
Yeah,
right?
and they're not challenging themselves that because there's I don't know. That's part of it. I find is just there's a risk, I guess, doing that.
Yeah, man. And it's that risk that gives you the rush. Like if you go out, if you got a handful of fucking jokes and you know they work.
Yeah.
Right? You've tried them at, let's say, 6 venues and they've killed at every venue.
Yeah.
You know it works. That's a fucking crutch, man. And it's a hard thing to let go of.
Yeah.
You know? And it's actually the reason I've taken this break is because I relied on those jokes for like 4 months. The same jokes. Added a little bit here and there. But essentially, for the most part, for those 4 months, I was doing the same shit. And I hated myself for it. I felt like I was, phoning it in. And the last couple of shows that I did, I didn't have any fun doing it.
Yeah.
You know? That's the thing that gets me. Like, take a guy like Darren. So he's been doing this same set for over 3 years. Well over. Probably closer to 6. And, what fun can he be having up there?
Oh, I can't imagine that'd be any fun at all.
Right?
Like I've gotten the same situation because I do a whole set about working at the Superstore, and it does kill. Like,
Yeah.
and I feel.
Well,
bad
you don't say what store.
Oh, I don't.
But
no,
it's super.
no. It's the Superstore.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, I was worried about doing that. I thought it was dumb or something, but it gets laughs.
Oh, you get a laugh every time with that.
Yeah. And I felt because I feel the same way. I use that as a crutch. I do, and I'm trying to break away from that now.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff I've been trying has been fairly good responses, so I have some new ones, I guess. But it is good to have it just in the back pocket. I brought it out because the last amateur night I had with the tough crowd, I had some newer stuff that they weren't really feeling, and I was kind of looking out, and I'm like, okay, off the Superstore we go.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, you got to be able to switch gears like that, right?
Yeah.
Like if this is not fucking working, okay, let's go to what works.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why it's important not to repeat too much at one, because then you can do that, right? You can bring it out. You go, okay, I did this here one time before, but none of these fucking people were here for that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring it fucking back out and save this set, Nothing wrong with doing that, but you got to have the other stuff to be able to do that.
Oh, you do?
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see the value in repeating material over and over. I don't see what you get out of it. Like, I wouldn't do it. Right? I mean, I quit comedy. Right now, I'm in the middle of quitting comedy because of that reason. Because I wasn't getting any juice anymore.
Yeah.
I'm a selfish comic, John.
Well,
I like to have a good time up there.
I love the sets you did at the Air Bar, though, where you just got high and just went up there and just did off the top of your head. Like, I loved your fuck off list. I thought that was
thank
great.
you.
The
Yeah.
Jetsons one was the best. That one.
Oh, the Jetsons. Yeah, I wasn't. Man, I almost did not do that part of it because I thought it was really weak.
Oh,
That
slayed me though.
That was funny. One night I was sitting here and I was stoned out of my mind. I'm like, and that's what I said to the wife. I said, those fucking Jetsons, they really lied, didn't they? She's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, well, I was promised this future. That was the future that I saw when I was a kid. And it's none of this shit. It's all fucking selfies and Facebook. There's no flying cars or anything they fucking promised, I'm glad you appreciated that bit because
really did,
I almost turfed it because I didn't think it was strong enough. Those were some of the funnest sets that I ever did because I, and I said this on stage while I was doing them too. I've always, loved cannabis and I've always loved comedy and I never put them together. I was too afraid, but, I had a lot of fun doing those lists. And, those lists were funny because some of the stuff on the list were killer. Some of them were just stupid and silly. And some of them were just no good at all.
Yeah.
And, it didn't matter. I had so much fun doing it, But that's a risky proposition. Now, you're a smoker. Have you done it?
Not yet, no.
You haven't either.
I haven't. I'm worried.
I wonder what it is. What are you worried about? I don't know what I was worried about.
Yeah, well, I think that's what I think it's just me overthinking it because I think it can go one of two ways. Like, I think one, it'll give me a real good boost and I'll be a little less self-conscious and more free.
Right.
But the other part of it is I'm just worried about, like, blanking out, I guess.
Remembering the shit. Yeah, that's why I brought a list, man.
Yeah, I'd have to if that was the case. Like,
It's true, though. It's one of the reasons I actually formed it in a list because I didn't trust myself to fucking remember it, because I'd never done it before. But I don't know about you, but usually when I'm stoned, I'm like probably 10 times funnier than when I'm sober for the most part. Well, is it that way for you?
It is for me, and actually when I think of it, it is very true. Like if I'm out with friends or something like that, when I have a smoke, I'm the life of the party all of a sudden.
Right.
Because I need it, so I think it would help me out. I might try like an R bar set or something.
Yeah.
Like just go get
I mean, that's a perfect environment to try it, right?
Totally.
Yeah. I hope you do in the future. What do you got booked coming up?
Well, Brian and I are taking over Laughter Dark after Sam and Matt.
Oh, right.
Off. Yeah.
Godso.
Their last show is going to be the 26th, and Godso and I are bringing back the roast battle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Are you going to put yourself on the battle?
I think I might.
Fuck
try it
yeah.
this time. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. We're doing the first one on August 26th. I think Matt and Sam are still emceeing, though, because they're still here. And I think Brian and I are just going to be in the battle, but after that, it's all ours.
Yeah. Well, that's what you guys can do though. Do what Matt and Sam did and just get a host, right? Get someone else to host it, a strong host, and then you guys can be in the battle.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I like the idea of having a show because it's guaranteed stage time every night, every month rather. So.
Yeah. Well, every 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
It's bi-weekly there.
Yeah.
So there's one next Sunday, right?
Yeah, there is. Yep.
Yeah. Are you on that one?
I don't think so. No, actually, I'm in Halifax that weekend.
You are? Are you doing comedy when you're down
there?
No,
I'm just visiting my sister. I have to look around.
You should probably get on a stage.
That's what I'm trying to look at because I'm there on the weekend. The only one that I saw was available was the Yucks down there.
Right. You're only there on the weekend?
I leave on Friday. I'll get there like Friday night. I don't know if I saw anything going on Friday night. But I think Saturday, because Saturday was because I thought that it was like every night of the week basically, and it pretty much is in Halifax.
Yeah,
I have
it
a
is
mic every night, but I think the only one available on Saturday night was the Yucks.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's a competing show on Saturday there.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I didn't think
there might be, but I'm not sure about that. I know there are shows every other fucking day of the week: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah.
God, that'd be great to have.
Have you been able to get a guest spot at Yucks yet?
I have. I've done 2. I did
nice.
Cedric Newman in September, and I did Jason Rouse in April.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, the Jason Rouse was a guest spot. Oh,
yeah. Well, I heard he was coming, and I found out about it like the Sunday leading up to it. So I messaged Steve, told him, like, look, I'm a big Jason Rouse fan. I'd love to open for him. And he put me right on, which I thought was great.
Beautiful.
And,
yeah, man. Steve's pretty good like that. I think there are a lot more guest spots available than people think.
Oh, there are. And he even told me that, too. He said people just aren't taking them.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. Like, I think, because I think most shows, they just kind of, like, just go right to the middle, I think. Because I think sometimes they go unfilled.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I did one for Mike Wilmot when he was in town. Yeah. Fuck, man, I think that was my favorite show at Yucks that I did for sure.
Really?
Yeah, that was a good time.
That's a great club, though.
Man, I love that fucking club. I hate the politics of it. I hate everything that comes with that franchise. I don't like it, man. Like it's almost like they and we talked about this with the repeating material. It's almost like they favor it.
They really do, and it's hard to read what it is they like in terms of content, I guess. Like I don't. Like,
it is because I've heard that they've told people keep it, not too edgy, not too risque, stuff like that. But then they bring in a guy like Jason Rouse. It's a very mixed signal.
Well, that's why I felt comfortable opening for him because I figured, well, it's Rouse. I can
say whatever I want. Yeah,
exactly.
And so did you? I want to ask you because I had my own experience with Jason Rouse. What did you write something specific for opening for Rouse? What did you do?
I had some that I was worried to do, but then when I found out I was opening for Jason Rouse, I was like, oh yeah, this is where I'm going to do it.
Yeah, man. Because you have full license, right? If you're on a show with Rouse, you can pretty much say whatever the fuck you want.
I know, because nothing I'd say would top anything he'd say.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. Like, it's
Yeah. Well, what I did was I wrote a completely new bit, and I just, I said, well, I'm going to be on a raunchy fucking show. So I'm going to write as raunchy as whatever will come to me. And I call this bit the faggot bit. And I use that word quite liberally throughout the bit. And it's just talking about, how I don't understand gay sex. And but then at the end, I close it with talking about James Franco and how he's probably the only one on this planet that could talk me into doing something gay. Like I'd play tummy sticks with him. Anyways, I wrote that bit and I fell in love with that fucking bit. And I ended up doing it, probably 5 or 6 more times over the next couple of years. But I don't think I ever would have wrote that bit if I hadn't been open for Jason Rouse, right? Because it was just full license. It's like, hey, do whatever you want to do. And I thought, well, if I'm on a show with him and I was the middle, right? He's coming up right after me. I got to be, comparable at least, right?
Yeah.
And it worked out well for me.
Well, and then like they had like right in the poster, it was like a XXX rated, and even Ian Black hosted it, and he was dropping really dark shit too, and he was like killing too. So that felt really good. I guess when I was waiting to go on, I was like, okay, I should be all right then. And
who was the middle for that show?
It was Chanel Frere. She did really well.
Really? Man, that's a weird fucking mix.
Yeah. I didn't think her humor she did pretty good, but it was
she always does. I shouldn't say always. She usually does very well with the crowds. But that's a weird mix.
It was, yeah. It was definitely a weird choice. Like
she's
she
all
was
about
probably the tamest one there, probably.
Yeah, well, she runs a room and she's got like this big list of rules. Like, it's basically a safe space.
Oh, really?
Right. So to have her on a show, that kind of surprises me quite a bit. I'm not going to talk about her though, because I have a storied history with her, and I don't want to. I don't want to, refry that fucking beef at all.
Fan the
hopefully, she didn't listen to the State of the Union. But anyway, that is a strange fucking booking, man.
Yeah,
that's weird.
I thought it was weird.
That is
just
definitely
talking to her.
weird.
I talked to her before, and I'm like, why are you kind of on this show? You seem like really
yeah,
she did well.
Yeah, you want to know, like I said, she usually does, but that's just a weird booking. Who's been, you've obviously gone out to some shows and you've performed on some shows. Who's been the most impressive comic that you've seen come through town?
There's
whether it yucks or chuckles or whatever.
Like in terms of like a pro?
Like a pro, yeah, like a traveling headliner kind
honestly,
of deal.
I'd say it was Paul Muirhog last month. I thought he was, I've seen a few now, but he was just great. Like just his, he kind of had that persona we were talking about. Like he had this real, lack of a better word, real macho kind of, but he was still a goofball at the same.
Yeah.
Like, he had this great bit about,
he's that style too. Like
yeah,
kind of like a
he
little
kind
bit
of
of a
goes
Burr
on,
style.
kind of like the way he carries himself. It's kind of like a man's man kind of a guy. But then, like,
oh really?
Yeah, because he had this whole great set about the difference between coffee drinkers and tea drinkers. He said like the coffee
one
drink
has a dick and the other one doesn't. Yeah.
Because he's talking about like how the coffee drinkers are like these really aggressive and really like fuck yeah, we fucking are we fighting kind of people, and then at the end of it he's like, yeah, so I'm a tea drinker.
Oh really?
Yeah,
oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like he was very self-deprecating. His crowd work was great too.
Yeah,
and he was
right.
the one that really impressed me the most.
I'm sad I missed that show because I've heard nothing but great stuff about
He
Paul.
was so good.
Yeah.
So good. And like he handled that, like I said, that chick in the front with the weird hiccup thing, he handled that so well. And
yeah.
I talked to him at the end of the show too, and he was like, look, did that seem like a dick move to you? I was like, no, I would have thrown her out too. Like it was getting annoying. Like it was ruining his jokes because right before he got to the punchline, she was like, yeah.
And the crowd has to react to that, right? So it takes away from the material.
And that's what he said too. Like I felt weird about doing it, but I did it. And I was like, I think it was a good best move, man. Like,
that's interesting because he has the same feeling as me. Like, was that too quick to attack that fucking crowd member, right? Because there's a fucking tipping point. You got to wait for that tipping point before you can attack that person. You know? Yeah, I'm sad I didn't see Paul, man. First of all, I heard nothing but great things before he came to town.
Yeah.
Did you go to Chuckle's their last show with the headliner?
No, I didn't. Missed it.
Fuck, he was terrible.
Oh, really?
Oh, he was really bad.
The one I opened for was terrible. I did,
Who did you open for?
Michelle Christine. Ugh.
You so you've been on the Chuckle stage.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
we're
did
gonna
a
talk
guest-
about that. So so it was that broad that brought like the motorcycle tour or whatever, one night only kind of deal. So you were on that show. Who else was on that show? John Ford was on that show.
Matt Keenan and it was a woman. I can't remember her name now. It was a French name, Michelle Petra. Or, I think I've never heard of her.
Local comic.
Yeah, I guess someone told me that she did Yucks before, I guess, or did a guest spot at Yucks. She was pretty good, though. Very raunchy, but we were all better than Michelle Christine.
Really? Yeah, really?
I love doing a Chuck, though, because I think Chuckles are a great crowd. But
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard just the opposite of Paul Meyerhog. I've heard nothing but bad things about this Christine broad. Seemed like a weird booking for Chuckles. I think they were just, I think she reached out and said, hey, I'm on this tour.
That was
one night only kind of deal.
The thing that kind of annoyed me about her was I found she really talked down to us, the openers.
What do you mean?
Like, she seemed very, like I don't know.
From the stage?
No, like beforehand, like backstage. Like, it's so good to see like amateur comics. You're all doing so well, and
come on.
we're gonna do a great show tonight. And like I don't know, it almost like I felt like she was trying to make me feel like I should have been honored to be like in the same stage with her or something. But I had no idea.
She's only been doing comedy like 4 or 5 years.
I had no idea who she was. I asked
Shane.
I was like, "Oh, who's opening the headline that night?" He's like, "Michelle Christine." I was like, "Who the fuck?" I typed it in. It was like some chick in a Mountie outfit. And
is she a good-looking broad?
yeah, she kind of looks like
so she's getting away
Shelley
with it
Duvall's less talented sister. Like, that was like first thing that came to my head.
Nice. It's so specific. I love it.
Like very thin. And the other thing too about her, she tried way too hard to be edgy. And like she was like, anybody here smoke pot? Like it's like
Jesus
for fuck's
Christ.
sake. Or anal sex, like it's like ooh, like you're real.
Yeah.
Getting to the edgy stuff now.
I've been doing weed and anal sex since I was 13, sweetheart. Let's keep fucking moving. Yeah. How did you find Chuckles? Because to be honest, Chuckles can be a very stingy crowd. They can be stingy.
And sometimes I've been there and seen it. I did pretty good. They were receptive to me. Like I did the Superstore shit. Did some local humor about KV and stuff. They love that.
Yeah.
I had a pretty good experience there. Though.
They respond well to local stuff.
They do. That's what I thought. And because I'd been there, I think, twice before. And that's what I noticed was anytime anyone did any local humor, it just killed. So that's what I stuck with. And didn't do anything really too dark there. Did a couple things, but...
What was your experience like that like from that stage? How did you feel?
I felt pretty good about it. Like I said, they were very responsive, and I just found the feel of the room really cool. I guess.
Love that. I fucking love that room.
Oh, I'd love to do it again.
That's my favorite spot to do comedy. I love it there. I'm actually headlining there in September.
Oh, are you? Nice.
Of 2019.
Oh, 20. Wow, they booked that.
This has been booked since 2017 that I'm returning there in September of 2019. I laugh and joke about it, man, but to be honest, it's a real fucking honor to headline that club. There's been a lot of tremendous names come through that club.
Oh, there has, yeah.
For me, it's a huge honor. I joke about it because they booked me fucking 2 years in advance. But that's the way they're booking, right? They're booked up pretty fucking solid. I can't wait. Any chance I get to do a Chuckles. I was offered Chuckles last month or the month before. Somebody fell out and Julie reached out to me. But, on this little break I'm taking, I've turned everybody down. Doesn't matter who it is. And I've turned down some decent fucking money. I'm kind of lucky. I get offered gigs. I don't go shopping for gigs. I'm kind of lucky that way.
That's good.
Yeah, but I love that fucking stage.
Oh, I loved it too. I
love
can't wait
that
to do
club.
it again. I loved it even when I went there because Ken was opening up for a guy, Paul Hayward, I think his name was.
Okay, yeah.
He was good.
Yeah, I missed that show actually. Yeah.
It was a really good show.
That was like last September, October or something like that.
Yeah, it was somewhere like that. Brittany Campbell was on it, and I think Glenn K. Ammo opened or was host. I think he was hosting it.
I think I got beef with Glenn K. Ammo.
Oh, really?
I think so. Not entirely sure. Glenn, reach out if that's not true. I'd love to have Glenn on the show. No, I went to Yuck Yucks to see Matt Richardson do his first headline.
He
set.
was on that show too. Yeah,
He's a fucking
he's
killer.
awesome.
He was on that show with Christine.
No, he was on the one I saw that Ken opened, that Paul Hayward one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He was probably the standout of that show.
Oh, man, he's such a killer. Such a killer. Man. And just the nicest fucking guy in comedy.
He seems it.
Oh, I love him. But anyways, I was there and I was up in the condo doing a podcast with Matt. And Glenn K. Amo had been on the show that I saw the previous night, and he had fucking bombed horribly. Like, horribly. And when I was talking to Matt, but I was talking to Matt like in his bed, in the bedroom at the condo, right? It's supposed to be a private conversation. And I mentioned that, the host had fucking bombed. Well, when I came out of the room, and, Glenn was out there and say, hey, Glenn, when are you going to come on the podcast, man? Because, I want, he's been a comic, I think, as long as I have around here, never been on the show. And he said, well, wherever you stop fucking telling people I bombed and shit. I'm like, well, dude, did you fucking bomb? You bombed, man. Yeah. I bombed. When I bomb, man, I come on this podcast and say, I fucking bombed.
Yeah.
We all bomb, man.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to hide it? You know what I mean? Oh, don't tell anybody. The fuck are you talking about, dude? You bomb. We all bomb. That's how we get better.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's it. Yeah, like we shouldn't be...
It happens to all of us. It's part of the learning process. Like I bombed. One of my worst bombs was in PEI, and we were on a road trip with John Arf and I. And after that show, we did a podcast. It was the very first Hammered cast, and the boys were ribbing me so hard for fucking bombing. That's the way it goes, man.
Yeah,
you fucking bombed. Why are you gonna get upset about it?
Yeah, and you learn more from the bombs than you do the ones you do well at.
Absolutely. And in Glenn's case, it's like, hey, dude, you repeated a lot of fucking material.
Yeah. He's another one. I've seen him a couple times now, and it is the same.
He repeats a lot of fucking material, dude. And it's, hey, if you're not gonna, work hard and take risks, and you bomb, you should expect the fucking bomb.
Yeah.
And when you do, don't get fucking mad about it, because I say so. Man, I call out everybody that fucking bombs, myself included.
Yeah, that's the best part about it. As long as you can admit yourself, it's that's the thing. Like he'd have more justification. Like if you were like, oh, everyone bombs except for me.
Yeah, except for me, and I'm the best.
Yeah,
I'm better than you, and I did better than you. And man, that's not what it's about, man. But people have such a hard time with honesty, John.
Oh, they do.
Everyone says they want honesty. They all want honesty until the finger's pointed towards them, right?
Been many relationships that way.
I'm the same way. I don't handle criticism well.
Oh, I don't either. No,
not at all.
Yeah,
but it's a reality, dude. If you got up there and the crowd fucking hated you, you bombed.
Oh yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
There's no hiding it. There's no fucking getting around it. You have a fucking laugh about it, dude.
Yeah.
Because honestly, John, the stakes are extremely low. That's what people miss here. There are no stakes here.
Yeah.
Like people think, oh, I have to kill and I have to do this and this is the next step in comedy.
Yeah.
Nobody here is even close to the next step in comedy. It doesn't exist for anybody here right now. Go out and fucking bomb, have a good time.
Yeah, well, that's it. I get because like we were saying earlier about like nerves and stuff. Like I don't really get nervous for like our bar shows or anything like that. Like I love doing the our bar. Don't get me wrong, but like what am I going to lose if I bomb there?
Exactly.
Like what's going to happen?
Exactly. Oh, these karaoke. These people are sitting waiting for the karaoke to start. Didn't like me. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm gonna go kill myself.
Guy in track pants didn't like me. Like it's just like
Yet so many comics, man, are so afraid to do the R-Bar. And established comics around here, you see them very rarely at the R-Bar.
Oh, really?
Very rarely. Well, when's the last time you seen James Mullinger at the R-Bar?
Well, I remember John telling me that because he asked Mullinger to be there for the last anniversary show or something. He just didn't show up or didn't even reply.
He did show up.
Oh, did he?
He ended up showing up and he bought some shots for everybody.
Oh, did he?
He showed up to the show. He didn't do any time.
Oh, okay.
Because John was restricting him to 5 minutes. And he knew there's no way he's sticking to 5 minutes. I mean, you think about James. I mean, he's usually doing it over an hour.
That's true.
So for him to, be called out and say, I've heard you go long on sets. You can't do that on this. It's a regimented show. We got to be done by 11.
Yeah.
I can give you 5 minutes. There's no way he can commit to that.
Yeah, no.
And good on him for not saying, oh, yes, definitely. I will, and then do 25 minutes in the middle of the show and ruin the whole show, But no, James did show up. But he has not done a set there. I think he's done it, the R-Bar, once, and he bombed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he won't go back.
Yeah.
Hey, man, he's got a business to protect.
Oh,
right?
oh no, I definitely get it.
He
Yeah,
can't go
he's
to the
gotta-
R Bar bomb and then everyone start posting on Facebook, oh, James bombed at a real comedy show. You
Like
know
that
what I
video
mean?
gets on YouTube. Yeah.
He can't afford that. you
Oh,
know?
yeah,
So you can't really fault him.
Oh, I
but there
don't-
are a lot of comics, like established comics, mostly, and I'm pointing the finger at, guys like Glenn Camo and other people from Moncton who refuse to do the R Bar because it's a tough fucking room, man.
It is. Yeah.
It can be.
Oh, it is.
They don't. What I love about the R Bar is if it's funny, it gets over.
Yeah.
If it ain't funny, they might be very honest with you.
Oh, well, it's the most honest crowd, I think, in the city. Really.
I think so too. I think between the R Bar and Chuckles, those are the most honest rooms. I don't think you can go to Yucks and do a set and really take away anything that the crowd gives you.
Yeah.
Whether good or bad, because it's a paid audience.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a that audience has been pandered to quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's not the same. You got to take those risks. I put McGill's in that category too. McGill's is a fucking risky place to do comedy, man, because the crowd is either non-existent or stingy.
Yeah.
One of the two.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's man. I don't think anyone's ever crushed that room.
Yeah.
McGill's.
I can't. Yeah, I can't think of anyone. Oh, the closest I'd say, they brought a guy from Yucks, Jason Fredrickson. I
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
He was pretty good, and he did kill. He did really well.
Nice.
Yeah, the past couple times, I think they've gotten some like Yuck headliner to close it out.
I like it that Steve is coming down and watching those shows.
I
He
like
was
that
there at the
too.
last show we were at.
Yeah.
He came
He's
out.
been
He
coming
didn't
out
stay
to
for
those
the
a
end,
lot.
but yeah,
Yeah,
it's good to see. I wish he'd get out to more. Like I wish he'd come out to
Same.
the R Bar and shit like that. See a comic where he's gonna get a good response.
Yeah.
Right at a place like the R Bar or dare I say Chuckles. I guess you'll probably never see him at Chuckles. I don't know why, because it's not really competition for him.
I can't imagine it being like, I really can't imagine him having too much competition in this city. Like, it's
Not for crowds, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's very rare you see the same people go from the R Bar to Chuckles.
Yeah.
Or from Chuckles to Yuck Yucks. It's all very separate audiences,
Well, I think like no matter what, people are going to choose like a Yuck show over an amateur comedy show.
They're
Like,
always gonna choose that.
He's like, no matter even if there is like an amateur show going on that night, like I can't imagine that killing his business at all. Like
Never.
Yeah.
The only thing that's going to kill his business is repeated material and loss of appetite from the crowd,
yeah,
which I think that is happening. And I think that's wwhy they've shut down Thursday nights.
yeah, I saw they doing that.
But you know what? Comedy is peaks and valleys, man. Right now it's in a valley. And but it could come out tomorrow. It could come out next week, next month.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I sure don't want to see. I talked a lot of shit about Yucks before they came here. A lot of shit, man. I don't like franchises.
Yeah.
I don't like their fucking policies. If they had an agent down here with their ear to the fucking ground and they knew what was going on down here in comedy, if that was their policy, it's not. And it's not even a feasible policy. They're a business.
Yeah.
Right? All they care about is selling tickets. They
Yeah.
don't care who the hottest comic is on this scene right now. Right? They don't have to. They're a business. They just want to sell tickets.
And it really doesn't seem to me that they're moving anyone along. Like, like there seems to be like people that keep doing guest spots and keep doing really well, but they're not getting moved up to that middle spot.
Dude, there is no moving on.
Yeah.
Like it's a pipe dream. The closest guy here on this scene is Matt Keenan.
Yeah.
Right. So he started off doing guest spots, and he got booked on a middle.
Yeah.
And but he got booked on a middle, and I think there was I think the booking agent from Toronto was in the crowd and said to him, "Oh, I'm going to book you. I'd book you in Toronto, right?" But the thing is, you can do as well as you want in this area. They're not going to. Here's the pipe dream of Yuck Yucks, right?
Yeah.
You go there, you do the amateur nights, you work your way up to guest spots, you work your way up to middle, and then the hope is that they sign you, and then they start shipping you all around the country. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen down here. If they ship you anywhere, it's a Halifax and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people realize the fucking list of people in Ontario, in Alberta, in BC, in all these other markets where Yuck Yucks is, who are still, in line waiting for their chance to middle
Right.
in those markets, This is a tough country. It's almost impossible to make a living at comedy here.
Yeah. That's what
And just stand-up comedy, And I think it's I just think it's that Canadians don't give a fuck. I think Canadians are content to turn on the Comedy Network and watch Just for Laugh gags. All fucking night until they fall asleep.
Or something like that.
Right? But even just, I mean, that's probably the most popular comedy in this country is Just for Laugh gags.
I
right?
believe it. Yeah.
And first of all, it's hilarious. How, as stand-ups, how can we even compete with that? Right?
Yeah.
We're going to set up this gag where this guy comes in and does something fucking stupid, and everybody at home is going to love it. Right? I don't know how we compete with that.
Yeah, and that really seems what they're more drawn to. And I think, like, with Canadians, too, it seems like going to a comedy show is not so much about, like, who's on stage, it's who else is at the show, like, in terms of crowd. It's more of a social thing. Like, I've noticed that even in St. John, like, a lot of the shows, like, you see a lot of people talking throughout it, or it's like, oh, let's go for a smoke, like, why is the comics going on to catch up?
Because
like,
Jenny's here and fucking Buddy's here. Yeah. I don't know if in Canada we can ever compete with something like Just for Laughs gags because it's so simplistic. And let's face it, it's fucking hilarious.
Oh, it is.
I love that show.
Yeah, oh, I do too.
But the only thing is, I don't think the Canadians get it, the difference in stand-up comedy. Because maybe stand-up comedy can never be better, like more funny than gags. It's possible that it never can get that funny. I mean, the funniest thing in the world is a fart.
Yeah.
You can go up on stage and have the best material. You're never going to compete with a fart. Right? Yeah. A fart is like the funniest thing in the fucking world. And gags is kind of that way. But I think what the Canadian audience misses is the human element of stand-up.
Kind of the craft behind it.
The craft behind it. It's one guy's voice. It's the way he sees the fucking world, you know? Yeah. But we haven't been able to captivate the audience here in Canada.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
It is. It very is. Like it, and yeah, like going that, like it's more the slapstick, and I don't think, I think most Canadians don't really want humor to think.
Yeah.
They want it, like, it's more of an escape to them, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, they don't really want to use their head a lot in it. And, like, I can, like, that's me in a lot of ways sometimes. Like, sometimes I do want, like, humor that is going to make me think or work my head. But other times I want something that is more simple and...
Yeah. Yeah, it's a problem here in this country.
Yeah.
And we also celebrate everybody else.
Yeah.
Right? Anything that's from away. I mean, look at James Mullinger, right? Case in point. There's a reason he does so well in this area.
Oh, because they love the immigrant looking in, or like comparing it. They love that stuff.
They love the fish out of water stuff.
Oh, they
right?
do.
First of all, this area, for whatever reason, loves the Brits.
Oh, they
right?
do.
You bring a British guy over here, they're fucking super happy. But it's just that feeling here that it's not good unless it's from away from here. Right? We can't possibly create anything good here. Yeah. Like you take James Mullinger, if he grew up here, right?
Yeah.
If he grew up where he lives on Rossay Road, if he grew up here, he'd be making no money.
Oh,
he'd be making the same money in comedy that you and I make, which is nothing. Well, I probably make more than you, but still. The point remains, you know, he wouldn't be nearly as successful.
Oh, he knows what he's doing.
Oh, he absolutely does.
I opened for him at the pop-up show they had at the library there.
Okay.
And he knows it. Like, he had the crowd freaking adored him. You could just tell they were just chomping at the bit for him to get on stage. And, like, he knows it. Like, he'll say something about, like, the Kingston Peninsula. And people are like,
that's it. That's all you got to say.
And,
that's all you got to say. If you're not from here, all you got to do is mention places here or a business.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The best thing James ever did was mention Tim Hortons. Right? A British guy mentioning Tim Hortons in New Brunswick, it's gold, man. It's comedy gold. And it's so infuriating.
Oh, it is. It really is.
Because I'm sitting at home writing real comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to write real fucking comedy.
Yeah, not pandering or just getting a cheap laugh.
But nobody gives a fuck about the comedy that I write.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody cares about the comedy that I love. Let's put it that way. In this country, nobody cares about Bill Burr.
Yeah,
nobody gives a fuck about Jim Jeffries.
Yeah.
You know? Nobody cares here.
Well, that's the thing.
They want James Mullinger.
It's like the things like I was saying earlier, like how most stand-up specials just seem to be more like
spoken word
shit.
Yeah.
Like, and it's almost like they don't want it to be funny. They just want, like, because it seems to be the new thing is it's not comedy unless it's saying something or having some message.
Right?
Yeah,
Jesus.
I hate that. Like,
fuck, it's pissing me off, dude.
Yeah.
It's like that. Did you see that feud that happened at Just for Laughs?
Oh, was that
with the guy got up, he does the character from Kentucky or whatever, and everybody attacked him.
that.
So this guy gets up, he was invited to Just for Laughs because he was named like the funniest guy on YouTube or some fucking thing. So Just for Laughs invited him. So of course he thinks they're inviting him for this character that he does on YouTube. So he dresses up like the character and he goes up like the character and he fucking bombed, right?
Yeah.
The comics out back after his set start tearing him apart, going, that's not fucking comedy and real comics like jokes and blah, blah, blah. Now, for sure, definitely attack him, and I agreed with the one guy. But then another girl, two girls actually, did their own clip about his set. And they said, you're a stand-up comic. You're supposed to be out there enlightening people on accepting this and accepting that. And it's like, what in the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
We're up there telling jokes, but this is not a message to, get people to accept fucking transgenders. And
Yeah.
That's not what this is.
See, the whole thing of comedy I see is like they step out of the game of like right and wrong. Like when you're a comic, you're stepping outside of that and you're looking at both sides and you're trying to make it funny. And
Yeah.
that's what it is. They like, and it seems like you have in this day and age too. Like you have to accept this, or you have to accept that you have to think like us, or you're not one of us. It's this weird mentality they have.
It's not even just you're not one of us. It's if you go against us, we're going to rip you apart.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to lose your job.
Yeah.
You're going to be publicly disgraced. They go fucking crazy with it, dude.
Oh,
it's
it
crazy.
is. Yeah.
Comedy is not about a message. It's about
yeah.
laughter.
That's exactly it.
A lot of people get it twisted because they see guys like George Carlin. You know what I mean? And George Carlin, at the end of his career, he had a message. He was very political, but he earned that.
Yeah.
He earned that. He wasn't doing that from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
He didn't have a message from the beginning. He had jokes, and he built a crowd of like-minded people, and then he was able to do that shit, right? Yeah, I that makes me sick that we're supposed to be the spokesman for the fucking world all of a sudden. We are the degenerates.
It's
We're
true,
the fucking
though, yeah.
idiots, man. We're taking your status quo and going, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Look at your status quo, how stupid you are. That's our fucking job. But now we're supposed to be these fucking messengers, right? We're setting the fucking bar for everybody. It's beyond ridiculous.
Oh, it is, yeah. It's the same standard you're using for everything, like music, and I find it like movies even too. Are getting that way.
Everything nowadays.
Everything now is messagey or dealing with some issues. There's no more just like entertainment anymore.
Yeah, it's got to be either leaning left or leaning right, or
Yeah.
acceptance of this, and it's man, it's fucking crazy. It's muddy.
Oh, it is.
The world is muddy now, and I blame social media.
Oh, I do too.
Big time.
Yeah.
I blame social media big time. I hate it. It's a necessary evil, It
is, yeah.
But I don't know. I think right now, we have this technology, the social media, and it's controlling the entire world.
Oh, it is.
It's
yeah.
impressive. It really is impressive. It makes me sick to my stomach. But really, it is impressive that it has taken such a hold on the fucking world. And everywhere you go, you just see everyone's heads down and their fucking thumbs going crazy, or they're taking selfies.
Oh, that's the thing that's getting me, like, that drives me nuts, is because, I went to a concert in Toronto, and it was like, everyone takes out their phones and are recording it. I'm like, whatever happened to just remembering the fucking show?
Yeah.
Like,
How about experience the fucking show so you
experiencing it.
can fucking remember it?
Yeah, or like put your phone down so I can actually see who's performing and not have to watch it through your phone.
Yeah.
Like, and then they're showing the videos to their friends and they're like, oh, I got a great video.
Yeah,
Like,
look at
as
this
it's
video.
happening like in front
Yeah.
of it. It's like, well, what the Christ?
Yeah. Why are you buying a ticket?
Yeah, yeah.
Who did you go see? What was this?
Nick Cave.
Nick Cave. It sounds familiar.
Yeah,
Is he a hip hop guy?
No, he it's hard to pin. When he started off, he was kind of punk, and he's kind of alternative. Like he adds elements of blues, jazz, rock, real dark motherfucker. Like he can write a really beautiful love song, but at the same time write the scariest song about murder you've ever heard.
Oh no shit!
And, like he's a very diverse, great performer. I saw him at Massey Hall in Toronto, not this last May, but the year before it. An amazing show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was the same deal. Like, the moment he takes the stage, everyone has their phones out and they're texting everyone else. And
Jesus Christ.
It was like when I saw Metallica in Halifax, and like it's an outdoor show, so you're waiting all day for Metallica.
Yeah.
And then they finally get on stage. This guy ahead of me takes out his phone, and I see Google on the fucking screen. I'm like, dude, what are you fucking Googling right now? Like,
Yeah.
shit, what was that recipe for chicken casserole? Like, it was like, so like,
Christ.
I was like, what in the Christ are you looking up now? Like, oh, right, Metallica. Oh, right. Like,
Yeah. It's really it's hurting people's ability to just absorb life
yeah.
while it's happening.
It
you know?
really is, and I think it's killing like socializing.
Yeah, they call it social media, but it's actually turning everybody antisocial.
Oh,
right?
it really
Oh,
is.
this is my community. Well, your community is where you fucking live.
Yeah.
It's not online. It's a fake community. You know?
Yeah,
I think we're going to swing back, though.
I do, too.
I think eventually we'll swing back to somewhere in the middle, you know? I fucking sure hope so, man. Because this world is just, it's fucking... I don't know. I'm an old guy too, right? So I look at the world. I don't like the world right now. You fucking kids.
Back in my day.
Jesus Christ. But it's true. You know?
it is.
Now I feel my dad's pain. You kids and your BMXs. You know? It's fucking it's weird, man. I'm getting old. It's not a good fucking scene. What do you do when you're not doing comedy, John? What does John like to do for fun?
Well, I'm a big music guy.
You're a big music guy, like listening to music.
Listening.
Do you?
I play a
do you
little
make
gu-
music?
I play a little guitar. Nothing.
Oh, do
nothing
ya?
I brag about. But
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a band,
dabble.
like actually put some shit together, or what?
No, not really. I tried, like in high school, I had like a couple like friends that were like, one was a drummer, one was a bassist. We just got in his basement and jam. Like it was fun as hell. to
Sure.
do, like just make noise basically. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Do you sing as well? Who sang in that band?
It was my friend that. I had another guy who did that. That's just better. I don't sing, but
Yeah,
so
but
I like
you,
myself.
You got a little bit of a bassy voice going on.
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I
You
can do
could
some
probably
Leonard
pull it
Cohen
off.
kind of shit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Who's your favorite band? What's number one?
Favorite band, probably the Tea Party.
Tea Party.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. I don't think I've ever talked to anybody and asked them that question and got that response.
Really?
I love Tea Party.
Oh, that's great to hear. They were like the first band I got into when I was my older sister. I think was playing them once, and they just hit me right away. Like I was probably only 11 or 12, and I remember it just kicking my ass. And that was the first time that I was like, "Holy shit, I like music."
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, really? That was the first one that you really got
and
into.
I finally seen them play the Fred Rock Festival like 7 years ago.
Right.
Amazing show. And I saw them again play the Casino in Moncton a couple years ago. I just always liked their diverse
Crazy
sound.
live show too. Eh?
Oh, amazing.
I saw them at the. I don't know if you remember this, but there was a bar called the Hideaway.
Oh, yeah. I
On
remember
Ross
that.
Avenue. They called it the Slideaway. I saw the Tea Party at
Really?
at the Hideaway in like
Oh,
93 or 4.
Oh, that would have been
When they
were
first
starting.
came out with the River.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I heard it on the rock station at the time, whatever the hell it was. But I had no idea that he was playing guitar with the fucking violin stick. When I saw them live, man, it blew my fucking mind.
They're intense.
And I had seen a lot of bands, live before then. I'd seen Metallica in Moncton, but it was such an intimate show. And like the boys played until they were fucking soaked in sweat. It was amazing, man. And I only knew one song. I only knew The River when I went to go see them. And I fell in love with that fucking band, man.
Yeah, well, it was like that. Well, they opened with the River when I saw them at Fredericton, but it was pissing rain the whole time. But it didn't affect them at all. They couldn't do their encore because like Jeff Martin was like electrocuting himself on the mic stand. It was getting bad.
Ooh.
Like it was getting rough. They couldn't do their encore, unfortunately. But up until then, like they were all soaking wet the whole time. The wind was blowing all their shit away, and they were still just rocking the hell out the whole time. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had at a concert. But
fuck yeah, man. I love the Tea Party.
I do.
Man.
I just like that diverse sound, like all the like Middle Eastern influences. And,
Yeah. And a lot of people just write him off because he does sound a lot like Jim Morrison.
Yeah, he looks.
And some of the songs are similar to like a Doors style.
Yeah.
But people don't delve deep enough, right?
Oh, they really
like sure
don't.
those hits that are on the radio, like the River and stuff, it's Doors-esque.
Yeah.
But if you delve deeper into their albums, man, they got their own sound completely.
Yeah, well, that's what's unfortunate. I think, like with big like fans of bands, like you don't hear, because I love a lot of their B-sides. Like Edges of Twilight, there's a song on it called "Drawing Down the Moon."
Yeah,
That's
Drawing Down the Moon.
That's probably my
Fucking
favorite song by them.
Unbelievable song, dude. Yeah. And that song has so many parts to it. Like it does. There's so much going on in that fucking song, man, and nobody's ever heard it.
No,
right?
Yeah,
like
they'll never play it.
It's what I miss, man. Like I grew up, I came up in the 80s. I was born in 75. So when I was getting into music, it was 80s. And back then, like you buy an album and you listen to the whole thing. Like Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil.
Nice.
Man, you take that album, like everybody remembers them for Girls, mostly Dr. Feelgood, Kickstart My Heart, because those were their biggest hits. But you go back to that album, Shout at the Devil, their debut album, and you listen to it. I actually have the record. Jamie bought it for me this past Christmas because we just got a record player. And man, that whole album from back to, from start to finish is fucking incredible. But now it's all hits, right?
Yeah.
It's this song, this one fucking song, this one song. And it's unfortunate, man, because the album is almost dead.
Yeah, I feel that with a lot of bands, like Slayer or one of my favorite bands. Like, there's some B-sides of theirs I'll never hear live. Like, I'd love to hear Crypts of Eternity from Hell Awaits, and I'd love to hear At Dawn They Sleep. And
you never hear that stuff. You don't hear Gods of War. You don't hear that kind of or Ghost of War. I meant Ghost of War from South of Heaven is one of the best songs they have. You never hear it live. I've seen them 3 times live. You never hear that shit.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Nah, they do. Well, they play what the people want to fucking hear.
That's the thing, yeah. And it always annoys me because it was one time recently before Gord Downey died, the Tragically Hip did a show where people could vote for what songs they wanted to hear.
Oh,
but they were voting for
radio songs.
Yeah, all the shit that they were going to play anyway. Like, I hope they play music at work.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like, I'm like, no, this is your chance to hear like the real shit. Like,
not just New Orleans is sinking.
Yeah.
Maybe something good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's very rare I have a Slayer fan on here.
Oh, yeah. Well, I love Slayer. I love my Slayer.
Man, when I was growing up, the first, I had a stepbrother and he introduced me to Twisted Sister, Motley Crue, all that kind of stuff in the early 80s. Metal, hair metal, and Quiet Riot, of course. And I loved that stuff. And then once I got away from that and kind of got my own taste for it, I got into Guns N' Roses. It was huge for me. And but I always seek out aggressive music. So from Guns N' Roses, I went to Metallica. And, of course, natural progression from Metallica to Slayer. And Slayer became my favorite band for 10 years. I heard I had a cassette tape that was actually Air Supply. But my friend had put tape over the fucking tabs, right? And he taped over Air Supply, and he put a piece of masking tape over it and put Slayer South of Heaven, and Heaven was spelt missing the A. It was just Heven. And I was already a good speller then. I knew it was fucked up. But, man, I listened to that, and I could not believe the dripping evil of that first track, South of Heaven, when it starts, that guitar lick, and just the lyrics. Oh, I fell so deeply in love with Slayer. They were my favorite band from that moment, which was probably 1990 when I discovered Slayer. I think South of Heaven was maybe 88 when it came out, but I didn't discover it till 90. And they were my favorite band right for that 10 years, probably from 91 to 2001 when God Hates Us All came out. Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize this, but it was actually released on 9/11.
Was it really?
God Hates Us All was released on 9/11. I was so fucking mad, actually, that the terrorist attack happened because I was living in Lake Louise in the mountains at the time, right? And so I had to drive to Calgary that day. That was my plan that morning, right? Work midnight shift. I was going to sleep for a couple hours. We're going to get up and drive to Calgary and buy God Hates Us All, Slayer's new album. And, of course, terrorist attack hit. My wife's parents were up in the air flying towards us because we were getting married 2 days later. Canceled the whole trip. Couldn't leave, right? I was just fucking angry. I didn't get to hear that album for 2 weeks after it was released.
Oh, shit.
What a great fucking album.
That's a
God
solid.
Hates Us All.
A lot of people shit on that album, but I love it. It's one
Do people shit on that album? I don't know how they can.
A lot of people. It's this thing that. It's another thing that drives me crazy is people their original stuff like Hell Awaits and Rain and Blood's all great, but that's all people stop at though. They're like, oh, they don't get better than that. I'm like, no, they have gotten better than that.
Yeah,
man.
man.
They don't want to hear the new stuff. Like they don't like it when bands evolve.
Yeah.
They want them to just keep doing the old shit.
Yeah.
But like if they do anything new, they're a little more hesitant about it. But I know people that are Slayer fans that hate that album and they like fucking trash me for liking it.
That's crazy, man. That's one of their strongest fucking albums,
Bloodline
man.
is like one of my favorite songs.
Dude, man, what's a third track on that song? Or on that album? I can't fucking remember. But that song starts out so aggressively. Now, I will say that Metallica is one of the, like you were talking about, bands going downhill or changing at least.
Yeah.
I didn't like their change, man. Ever since Cliff Burton died, like I was such a fan during Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets when they were coming out that, I don't know, once Cliff left, man, or didn't leave, he fucking got decapitated. But, like Justice, I loved.
Yeah, that was really good.
The Black Album, they started moving away from shit that I considered Metallica.
It was a lot cleaner sounding. It didn't sound
I think
raw
Bob
as
Rock
others.
just, I don't know, man. He did the same thing to Motley Crue, with Dr. Feelgood. I didn't like Bob Rock as a producer.
Yeah.
He seemed to turn the guys a little too mainstream for me.
Yeah, clean.
I mean, Sad But True is, man, it's a tremendous fucking song.
Oh, that is, yeah.
And it brings you back to like Harvester of Sorrow, like, you know, it brings you back to the old Metallica. There are moments on that album. Everything after that, I'm not a huge fan of Metallica.
Yeah.
My Friend of Misery, Hero for a Day. There's a lot of songs that I can pick out from albums, but not album to album.
Yeah, but the albums aren't consistently good. Like, there's some songs on Load I like King Nothing, Outlaw Torn.
King Nothing's very good.
King Nothing's great.
Yeah, very good. But, you know, if you compare that album to Master of Puppets, you know, in content,
Yeah.
there's no way it holds up.
Yeah.
There's no way it holds up. Even just Lars on the drums.
Yeah.
And Lars takes a lot of shit, man. He might be he's one of the best drummers that's ever fucking born, man.
I definitely agree with that.
But I don't know, their sound went too far for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love Metallica, man. Like I said, even their newest album, there are moments, but not cover to cover, not fucking start to finish. You know?
Oh, they'll never have it again. I saw them when they did Halifax. I can't remember. It was a few years ago now. That was a good show.
Man, listen, I'll tell you this much: if they come to this area, I will go see them no matter what they're playing.
Oh, I would too. Yeah.
Because the live experience of Metallica is amazing.
Oh, when they hit the stage, they hit the fucking stage.
It's amazing.
They opened with Creeping Death, and I remember it was like all dark, and they played the Ecstasy of Gold, and then the spotlight shone on the drum kit, and Lars runs out and hits the cymbal, and all the flames kicked in. Oh my god, it kicked my ass.
Their show is amazing. I was pissed off. The first time I saw them was in Moncton, and it was on the Black Album tour. So one of my favorite albums at that time was Justice. I love Justice, man. I get it. There's a lot of long songs on there. It's tough to do, 4 or 5 songs from there. But they got Blackened. They got fucking Harvester of Sorrow. There's a lot of, shorter songs that you can play off that album. They did a medley of Justice.
Oh, really?
So they did one. They did the whole thing, which was awesome because in the double bass in that song, the drum kit was lit up for every pedal. So it was amazing show that way. But they didn't do any other than one. They didn't do any other full song. They did a Justice medley. So they started with Blackened. They did like 30 seconds of Blackened. They did 30 seconds of Justice. They did 30 seconds of Short of Straw. 30 seconds of Diners Eve. I was so fucking angry. I left there so angry because of that Justice medley.
Oh, that's a cop out. Oh, that's.
But I mean, it was still a tremendous concert.
Yeah.
They had no opener. They did 3
really?
straight hours of just Metallica. Fuck, it was amazing, man. It was amazing. Who else do you listen to?
Oh, I like them. I like Judas Priest a lot. I saw them in Halifax.
That's where we part ways. But
Oh, really? You don't like Priest?
Hate him. You know what? I love Judas Priest, the band. I hate Rob Halford on vocals.
Oh, really?
I'm such a vocally driven guy, and I never enjoyed his vocals.
He can be hard to take sometimes, but
I get it. I mean, he's a great vocalist.
Yeah.
I mean, the fucking notes he can hit and carry, it's impressive. I just never liked the mix of his vocals with that music.
Yeah. It seems a little out of place sometimes. I saw them in Halifax. They gave a really good show. That guy goes through more costume changes than Cher, but
It's all I hear about Judas Priest is go see them live because their live
really
show's
good
amazing.
show.
Yeah.
Well, Mastodon opened for them, and Mastodon was a little disappointed. I love Mastodon.
Really? Because live they're disappointing?
Well, I was disappointed because I love Crack the Sky. That's my favorite album by them, and they did nothing off Crack the Sky. They just did the last 2 new albums, which I didn't care for.
Yeah.
Because I haven't cared for their new stuff. I don't know, I just find they're branching out in some weird art rock sound that I don't really care for. And again, I was really disappointed because I was like, okay, they're going to play Crack the Sky. Here it goes. And nope, never.
Not at all. Jesus Christ.
I love Tool a lot. They're another one. I really like.
Yeah. I was pretty jealous. St. John
I
Ford
know.
just went to see them.
Yeah.
Very jealous, man. I've loved that band since '92, but I've never seen them live.
I never either. I hear they're amazing live.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine went to see that show in Bangor. I didn't even know about that show till like the day after.
Yeah.
I was like talking to him. He's like, "Oh, I went to see Tool." I'm like, "Where'd you see the Tool at?" And he was like, "Bangor." I'm like,
Motherfucker.
like, did you forget I exist? Did you forget I introduced you to that band? Like,
Yeah.
it's like I'm the reason you fucking heard it. Like,
I gotta think that their live show is tremendous because their videos, right?
Oh,
just
yeah.
what they put into their work is amazing. Their videos are so fucking awesome.
Oh, they are.
Man, if you've never seen a Tool video, even if you don't like the music, the videos are so fucking good.
Well, I've seen clips of them live, and I've seen like they have a huge screen in the back, and they usually show like visuals, and the band's in darkness for the most part during it.
Hey, listen, if you got a message for my listeners, the microphone's all yours while I take a leak.
All right.
If you don't, I'll just edit it out.
Okay, I got
right
nothing.
back. But the mic is yours, no pressure.
All right. See what I can come up with.
Did you use it?
No, I didn't. I blanked
God.
out. Performance anxiety.
Happens with everybody on here. The very first time that I saw Slayer was in Edmonton, and the opening band was Hatebreed.
Oh, wow.
Man, they were my favorite bands, like my number 1 and number 2 at the time. Fuck, that was a great. And Slayer had been banned from Edmonton for 10 years.
Really?
And they were finally allowed back. What a fucking show. John, you would not believe how many people were taken out of that fucking show by the paramedics.
Seriously?
Left, right, and center.
Jesus.
That was the most violent show I've ever fucking been to. That was crazy.
Jesus.
Great fucking show.
Oh, I can imagine.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was so good.
I saw them when they did St. John in 2004. Damage Plan opened for them, so that's like Pantera basically opening for them.
Right, yeah.
But I didn't know at the time that Damage Plan were Pantera. I had no idea. And a friend and I were like watching them. We're like, fuck, that guitarist looks like Dimebag. And we're like, it kind of sounds like him too. And we're
Yeah.
like, holy shit, it is him. And that was a great show. I think for their encore, they did Rain and Blood in its entirety. Because every song's like 2 to 3 minutes, so they just jetted through it, no space in between, just like.
Oh, you mean the whole album?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
that
you
was
just
their
meant the
encore.
song. Okay, yeah.
The whole encore was the whole album. Like it was.
Yeah. Well, that album is what, like 37 minutes or
Yeah,
something? It's
it's
a
a
pretty
short
quick
one.
album, maybe
Yeah.
42 minutes. Man, how great is that fucking album?
Oh, that's a great one. Hell Awaits is my favorite, but I do love Rain and Blood.
Hell Awaits is so very fucking good. Did you ever run the album backwards? You hear what they say at the front?
Oh, isn't it like Join Us? Or
Join
something
Us
like
is
that?
what it
Yeah.
says, yeah. It's creepy. It's a little creepy. I like that subliminal shit.
Oh,
you
I
know?
love that too.
It's what drew me into metal was the darkness of it. you
Well, that's
know?
what I always loved about it too, because I've always liked darker shit, and there is that whole like I don't know. I liked it when it was like the devil's music, you know, like that it has that whole, and it still has that feel to it because there are still people that scares the hell out of like.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's what drew me in as a kid. I'm like, this is a little dark. This is a little, I was the kind of kid that would, go out and buy the Satanic Bible and.
Yeah, I
know,
have that.
do you?
I
Nice.
do,
Yeah.
I got into Anton LaVey.
Did you? It's interesting, right? It's an interesting read. The Satanic Bible.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by LaVey. I honestly think the guy was just so fucking bored with life that he said, you know what, I'm just gonna make it as interesting as I can. And
Yeah.
it has a very interesting history, the whole Satanic Church, and
His daughter's still carrying it on too, right?
I think one of them does. One of them completely broke away. Zena LaVey.
Right.
She's like a tantric Buddhist that lives in Europe now.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ. Well, she was bound to be a fucking nut.
Oh yeah. Oh, she had no chance.
She had no
man.
chance, man. Yeah.
Some of the stories about that house. I have another book of his called The Satanic Witch.
Right. I've heard of that. I
Yeah.
never read it though.
That's a gold mine.
Yeah?
It's just like, I think honestly he had more of a sense of humor than people
Absolutely.
let on.
Man,
Like,
it's not meant to be a fucking serious
Yeah.
Bible like the Holy Bible, right? I mean, half of the fucking book is spells.
yeah,
Right,
exactly.
which are all fucking
yeah.
bullshit,
Yeah, and like,
But the actual, if you read it, what got me in the very beginning with LaVey is just the one line, God spelled backwards is dog.
yeah,
And it drew me in, man, because growing up here in the fucking Bible Belt, that's all you hear is this fucking God bullshit. And, I've always gone against the grain. Imagine that. And, you're right. And I was into that kind of shit. The Satanic Bible, the Necronomicon.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
that
the
too.
well, you know what that is because you're a horror fan. And,
Oh, yeah.
And,
Lovecraft.
yeah, man. I loved that fucking shit, man,
Oh,
when
I
I
do
was
too.
younger.
I ate that right. Once I heard about LaVey, I was like, I need to know everything about this motherfucker now. Like, and it's just, and the wine that got me is that I love it. It's a shame stupidity isn't painful. Like once I read that, I'm like, I like this guy.
Yeah,
I like him a
yeah.
lot.
It's those little things, right?
Yeah.
Like evil spelled backwards is live.
Live,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's so interesting. It's funny. I left here in '97. I moved out to Edmonton, and I took a train from Edmonton to St. John foolishly in 1998 to come back for Christmas for a vacation. And don't ever take a via rail train across the country.
I took one to Halifax, and that was enough for me.
It's enough, right? Unless you have a bed, right? Unless you have a bed cart, you're in trouble. Although I did get laid quite a bit on that trip. Anyway, and I did a lot of angel dust. The point is, this guy got on in Montreal and I ended up sitting beside him. And he was just the normalest looking fucking guy, man. Glasses, ball cap, just the normalest looking fucking guy. And we got talking about music like you and I are here. And just like you and I, somehow it turned around to Anton LaVey. We got talking about the Satanic Bible. And this guy, I can't even describe to you how normal he looked, right? He looked over at me and he goes, "These fucking sheep have no idea there's a wolf amongst them."
That's pretty bad.
This guy, I was about, I think I was 21 at the time, maybe. And this guy was like 26 or 7. And he's like, and I was like, "Oh," I said, you must have read the Satanic Bible." And he looks around and he takes his hat off and he parts his hair and he's got the fucking cover of the Satanic Bible, that pentagram with the fucking symbols and shit on it, tattooed on the side of his fucking head.
Shit.
He's like, "I'll never shave my head. I will never let these sheep know there's a fucking wolf amongst them, but I know what's going on." This guy scared the shit out of me. I was like, holy fuck, man. I like this shit too. But I like it as kind of like a lark.
It's entertainment for me, but the people that are into it are terrifying.
Oh, man, he took it fucking serious. And then he went off like he was, like he got on the fucking pulpit. And he just started going fucking crazy. And I was like, okay, dude, I think it's more, I was leaning more towards the way you spoke about it. It's sense of humor.
I really,
right? Come on, man. He's doing it to make money.
Yeah.
He doesn't believe there's Satan down there. It's like, come on, just read it, man.
That's what I love about him was he was such a good con man that no one understood that he was a con man.
That's right.
Like
that's how good he was.
And he knew it too. And he's so he basically calls his followers idiots and is follow in his books all the time.
Yeah.
And they follow every word he says.
Yeah. He's an old school carny.
Oh, he is.
That's what he is.
He's
He's a carny. He's pulling the wool over everyone's eyes. And when he talks about sheep, he's really talking about the people that follow him. It's weird.
Oh, he's a brilliant social commentator, I'd say. Like, his daughter, actually, Xena, had a funny story about him because he was having one of his, masses or whatever in the house, and she was, going to go downstairs and see it, and he stopped her. He goes, no, I don't hang out with them. They're weirdos.
They're so deep into the Satanic Church. Stay away from them.
It's kind of funny, the followers saying, no, these guys are fucked.
Yeah. It's weird, man. It's he's a very interesting character. I'm glad that he made money. I'm glad he was successful doing it because it's kind of stupid, but it also it really helped my awakening. You know what I mean? Because if you look around, everyone believes what the mainstream media tells them. They believe in religion was just. Religion to me nowadays, it blows my fucking mind that anyone would follow it.
I had no idea.
And seemingly intelligent people, John. I've been trying to. There's this guy that my wife knows, and he's a really fucking smart guy. He's an engineer, super smart guy, super Christian.
Yeah,
I want him on this podcast so bad, and he continues to refuse to come on. He refuses to come on. I just want to talk to somebody who is intelligent, but still follows that doctrine. I don't know, man. It's a conundrum. It never ceases to amaze me.
Oh, I'm the same way. There's doctors, people with their doctorates that are I dated a girl whose mother was a doctor of some sort, but she, honest to God, believed that Hurricane Katrina happened to punish New Orleans for its sinful ways. How the fuck? How the Christ is Las Vegas still standing if that's the case?
Exactly.
No,
right?
You guys are done.
Yeah.
And but how did you get your fucking doctorate?
Yeah. People still think that the world is representative of Stephen King's The Stand.
Yeah,
It's fucking good and evil. It's craziness, man. What John, we're going to close this out here in a minute, but I want to know, I'm always interested to know why people get into comedy. What's your goal in comedy?
I would like to, I know it's impossible, like we said, but I'd love to do it full time, honestly. But
for a living, that's the dream, right?
Yeah.
Tell jokes for money.
Because that's it. I love making people laugh. I always have since I was a kid. I make my sisters laugh. I make my parents laugh. I make my friends laugh. I love doing it. I'm hooked to it, honestly.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about too, it gives me, because I've always been kind of creative. Like I always wrote like short stories and things like that.
Oh, okay.
But I
So you're a writer from way back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And with comedy though,
Were you writing horror, John?
I was. Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I think we have a lot in common.
think so,
We'll dig
too.
deeper next time. But,
Oh, for sure.
yeah. But continue on with your goal.
Well, like a lot of things I'm trying to do too is like open up more. Like we said, like putting our own thoughts and thought processes out in the open, or just it's kind of like therapy for me, honestly. Comedy,
Yeah.
like it's the best.
You
want
to share your crazy with the world.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want them like telling me like, "Ooh, that's concerning" or whatever. Like I just want to open up and then have my spiel and then leave.
Yeah.
It's like-
I mean, we're all deranged, right?
Oh,
Comics are
yeah.
fucking deranged. You have to be to want to get up there and fucking do it.
Well, I felt very at home when I first started in the comedy scene when I met like so many other comics, because I had friends, but I never could really connect to them. I just never felt like, not to make myself sound anymore, but I just never felt like they really got me or got what I really am or anything.
Yeah.
But I started talking to comics. I'm like, yeah, these are my people. Like this is where I belong. Like
Yeah, it's the most to me. It's the most interesting thing about comedy, is that this is where I've made my best of friends because we're like-minded people.
Yeah.
Right. We think fucking crazy shit, and we're willing to go up and say it to people.
Yeah.
Right. It's a special kind of fucking person.
Yeah, it really does. Like,
Yeah.
I remember my first R-Bar set. You did a set there, and you did your whole thing about mental illness, and that was great because I thought that, honestly, like that was always my thing, but I never said anything about it because in this day and age, you say anything like that, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like about mental illness, just like people using it as a way to get out of just being an asshole.
Yeah, it's
or
just an
it's
excuse to
like
be an asshole,
excuse
yeah.
kind of thing. And I always felt that, but like, and it's other comics too that say stuff that I think.
Yeah.
And that made me feel really like, oh, okay, so there's others that think this way.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not the only fucking demented person on this planet. Yeah. John, thanks a million for doing it, brother.
Thanks for having me.
And we're just scratching the surface. We'll be back.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks again, brother.
Thank you.